was to Europe, and that some teams in Europe like to hide maps and not bring them out. But I think he was sort of bluffing in that way as well. I think he had a couple of tricks up his own sleeve, and we're going to see that first here on Cafe.
Yeah, we certainly are. And then obviously rolling into Nighthaven Labs, which I think is probably fair to say that they are somewhat evenly matched on, despite what preference they would kind of come into. And I mean, for those that don't understand what the preference picks are, it's basically your band you picked, and there's an algorithm that works toward it. But Dplus, it says that they're at their 8th, oh my god, out of 9th preference, which is a very, I'm struggling today.
And I'm not a big proponent on the map preference. Right?
Neither am I. I really don't. I don't like referencing it for that exact point, Jake, because I think there's so much to it that doesn't get taken into that.
Well, I mean, as you were saying in terms of the algorithm, yeah, they ban a lot, but it also gets banned against them a lot.
Yeah.
And they're happy to play it. It's just all of those sort of things. Look, at the end of the day, though, the biggest factor is, Vinny, they actually beat CAG last time when they played Labs. So Cafe, for me, needs to be must-win then for CAG. Otherwise, you go to a Nighthaven Labs map against Dplus, who beat you on that map last time you played. So, and considering this is a permaban, I do wonder for CAG as they come into this series, are there nerves when you haven't really played this map in an official for a very long time?
Yeah, and when you get to an official, it's so different to the way that you're practicing in scrims. Obviously, the practice quality might not be as good, and when you get to game day, the nerves are definitely there, especially on something you're not super comfortable on. So we'll see how much preparation they've done for this, and I think both of these teams rely pretty heavily on their momentum throughout a series. So this first map is going to be really important, and I think whoever wins the first map will probably decide who takes it through Labs. I think it's going to be a 2-0 either way.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Looks like we're getting a tech just instantly off the bat, so we can kind of we can take a little bit more time with this one.
Did we get the final bans at all by chance?
No, unfortunately, that tech was called right in the middle of the second ban.
Okay.
We have, I think it was the Monty and the Castle have been banned to kickstart off. But this is one of the conversations we've been leaning into, Vinny, and I'm not sure how much you're aware of the mid-season patch that happened on Tuesday night that kind of interrupted one of the matches. But the big discussion has been coming into now what has been 2 days post-patch is around the Wamai, because the Wamai has been buffed quite significantly. I think it was a deployable shield or a C4 and
Nitrocell, update rate, an extra disc.
Yeah.
I mean, quite a lot
in
one go.
Yeah.
Like, it was a lot.
Yeah, it's massive, and it reminds me a lot of the Wamai that basically dominated for such a long time in pick rate, because it was almost impossible not to bring him, especially when Jaeger was so weak for such a long time. And Wamai was able to catch basically every type of utility. So,
and they made Jaeger a 3-speed as well now. So,
and I saw he got an ACOG. Was that true?
Yeah. What did he? No.
Was that a meme? Did I get memed on Twitter?
Hang on.
Oh, no.
I was like, hang on a second, I don't recall that one.
Guz is just nodding in the background.
But you think about the lineups you can bring now as well, because there's obviously one of the newer operators in Denari plays that sort of a Rooney role, but more flexible, not just on the windows.
Yep.
So you can go, if you wanted to, a heavy catch-based kind of system, Denari, Jaeger, Wamai. There's the Rooney. If you wanted to go quad down, you probably wouldn't.
Yeah.
But what that does is gives you flexibility. Now, we actually started to see my bans last night for the first time this stage,
right,
which is obviously based off the changes.
And
but if you're banning away the Wamai, and clearly the Wamai is strong, you still have other options with the Denari, the Jaeger, and the Aruni.
Yeah, in terms of denial, but most teams, especially at this stage, should have multiple versions of their defensive strats, where there will be some where they want to hard hold areas of the map where operators like Wamai and those util denial is so important. If enough of those get banned out and you want to move more towards a roamy sort of style, there's also none of the bans go towards that, because you don't really see Mozzie bans, mute bans, roamers like Vigil. You don't see those kind of things come out that often. So it's easy to sort of build around roam strats. Obviously, Mira is probably still the most banned defender for the most part, I'd say, throughout the group stage.
In 2 seconds, honestly, at this point. Like, it's a very interesting conversation. We were actually talking with Pengu about this yesterday, just about like...
It's a long 2 seconds. It's actually not, by the way.
Well,
at least in APAC North today. APAC North, it's Kaid by 1.
Right. Well, yeah.
And who's underneath?
Mira by 1.
God, you are such a flog sometimes. I love you. I'm so great. I'm so grateful I get to have this desk with you.
He said the most banned operate on defense.
And his technically was so wrong by 1 ban. What an idiot.
Welcome back, Vinny.
Thank you.
But it does, I think it goes to kind of talk to one of the discussion points we had going to Clubhouse last night, which is around like, you know, what maps do you ban that Wamai on, because people just aren't familiar with it yet. And what was brought up as a pretty interesting point from Pengu around, well, you know, like for a map like Clubhouse where you're going to focus a lot more on wall denial, and you don't need to worry so much about banning that. If you've got your set ways, your set strats, you're not really going to lean back into something like that Wamai ban. But once you start to see things open up a little bit...
I do want to touch on, so again, Wamai was not banned at all, Vinny, this stage. Only the 3 regions. And so it hasn't technically been banned in APAC North up to this point, because they have not played since the patch. Yesterday, Asia got the full patch experience. Obviously, for OS, it was split.
The last day, yep.
So it went from 0 to 9 bans in one night.
Yep.
It's just it's so easy to make Wamai work. You can throw them anywhere. You can throw them pretty far away. You don't have to like hold them in one spot. It catches basically every form of utility that could sort of push out an area. Clubhouse is one of those maps that, as you said, relies more heavily on wall denial bans and stuff like that. But in saying that, holding rafters with Wamai becomes like infinitely stronger.
Yep.
And for a long time, holding garage rafters has been a bit of a struggle.
Huge, yeah.
But
Well, back in the day, it was
huge.
Is it? Obviously, he's gotten a lot of changes, but how much is it? Of which part is it? The nitro cell that's the biggest factor. Like if you were to have not given him the nitro.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's one of those operators that would need a nitro cell to be effective. I think his utility.
So that's why he's getting
really
banned,
strong.
probably.
Because of his utility.
Well, because he got the nitro plus his utility being buffed.
I think just with the utility buff, I think that's more than enough.
Oh, speaking of the devil, there you go. Add it in. There's the first ban for APAC North. Yeah. I mean, I think it's a combination of all of the above, right? Like, because he's gotten the nitro cell and his disc get an extra charge, and they charge quicker, all of it all at once, suddenly it's like, well, that's a lot. If he hadn't got the nitro cell, I don't know if he would have been in the ban territory.
Oh, what have we missed?
Guys, you've missed something.
What have we
I've been
missed?
screaming here. He got this secondary shotgun not that long ago, okay? He can make rotations everywhere. He's a flex pick. Before that, Wamai didn't have a secondary shotgun. So it's the shotgun with the gadget, with the probably shoot with the C4. He is one of the most flexible defenders in the entire game
Do you think they forgot that, Nick, when they gave him the nitro cell and improved his gadget?
I think they might have, because you know what? Once upon a time, Mossy had 21 bullets in his weapon, in the Rody, and then he gave him 1.5x scope, but it was too strong, so they took away some bullets, right? But then they also took away the scope later on, and they never returned the bullets. So Mossy's only has 16 shots instead of 21. It's the shortest magazine for any SMG in the game. I think they forgot.
I think.
Do you think he's going to get nerfed?
I mean, not anytime soon, because that would be backtracking your progress, but eventually.
Eventually, maybe one day. But see, this is why you don't get a washed player and a play-by-play commentator to join me on the desk, because we just don't get all the points.
I mean, Nick's washed as well. Come on.
Very true. Look, to be fair, I actually think you boys did very well considering. Look, I think it's now time to leave this in one of the duos of all time. I'm going to throw this up in the air to see who catches it.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. We now have a washed player.
Oh, thank you, Rob. Now we have a washed player and a
color commentator doing play-by-play.
Color commentator. Yep.
Nick, what are you
in the
doing?
background. He said he's gonna throw him and see who takes it. I was taking it.
Smart man, always ready.
Yep. Why do you hate Cafe? Jake said you hate it.
I honestly, I don't hate it as much as I probably used to in the util meta. I think it's definitely
he's a
developed to
liar.
be a little bit more dynamic over time, and split attacks have done this map a good service, but it's still a little bit dated in my mind, and I think that's probably why we haven't seen it picked a lot over the course of this first stage.
I'm with you there. You're stuck on the repels and the roofs and attacker. You're stuck as hell on the cell as a defender. It's a bit tough here. I will say though, I really like what Dplus key what they did here in the operator ban selection, because I was fearing that they're gonna ban like the Asami Castle, very good old standard, but then you cannot play Yeg and Wamai and just play deployable shields, and you're back to square one. They do a mixture of both the Castle and the Wamai, and it's gonna make both playstyles a bit more challenging from CAG. So playing a more, C4, vertically heavy defense here, trying to fish for a couple of kills. Not successful so far. And Dplus, they're staring down the bomb side. This could just be a plant, except that the player in the basement that could deny it.
Yeah, Chibisu finds the opener in round number 1, and here is the planned attempt from Falls. It's only temporary though, as there is clearly information being gathered down below, courtesy of that pulse, and some initial denial, courtesy of the smoke. And so Dplus will now need to recollect themselves.
They've shown their hand though. Dplus rotates a player downstairs, trying to catch that C4. If you've been counting, there's still one in pocket of Chibisu, but he's playing on the top portion of the map. So this downstairs hold is only for the pole shotgun really. and just scanning that location. Nears gets one to Anitin. So all of a sudden, Dplus, they open up the round.
Yeah, nice flank there from DD, man. So 30 seconds on the clock and 6 players remain, 3 aside. Zaka low on HP, but he'll continue his lurk down below, gaining information. But a pivot here from Dplus Kia. They go reading side, and Falls will re-attempt the plant for a second time in the round. This time, however, able to stick. And so it enters a post plant rather, with the pulse still up. And Midi up close 90, freebie onto DD, man, and Falls cuts off said pulse white stairs. It's clean work from Dplus Kia in the opening round. A good pivot, a good plan B. Chibisu will attempt the clutch and finds one, but only 20 seconds remaining on that fuse. Needs to move quickly. Niz is low, but falls on the Blackbeard. Should make this very challenging. Nitro still in pocket, but falls short. Did stun the Blackbeard, but not enough to win the round.
Very good. Couple of exit frags there for CAG, but no round for them. As you said, good pivot, good plan B. I really like how they sold it very effectively, right? They walked down the red staircases saying, hey guys, we're trying to deal with the verticality of the poles and the C4s because we want to plant dining. That's where the soft floor is. Only to then pivot into library where there is no verticality and where the poles isn't even looking for, because they were thinking, hey, it's going to be a dining attempt once more. So it's very important that when you're going for these kind of plan Bs or plan Cs sometimes, that you don't make it too obvious, that you don't show your whole hand. If everybody had left the area of dining and mining and train and such, then she would go, guys, there's no attackers here. They must be doing something different, like either going top floor or exactly like they did, going for a library push. So very smart, a bit of foresight. This is also the case of, yeah, we're in APAC North, right? We're looking at a Japanese team on one side, but Dplus Kia, while they're a Korean organization in APAC North, they have a Brazilian team. And Brazilian teams, players, the whole region, they love Cafe. And they have for a very long time. And that's what makes this map extremely dangerous to me. And they get the attacking start side, which I would say with the Siege X Rappo change and the current meta of the utility operators, the shields, etc., I would say Cafe at a higher level of play skews more and more towards the attack than the defense.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's, again, probably why I disliked the map for so long. It was a little bit cumbersome, and the Republic changes certainly aided things. Sharip a little aggro here in the opening portion of round 2, and I'm looking across at the opening kill conversion rate for CAG. It sits at 87%, and unfortunately, in that opening round, a failure to convert after Levy fell first to the hands of Chibisu. So we'll see if that is a trend that is to be established and continued over the course of this particular map. But it should be an outlier, and we'll get a good test here in the second round. Sharip with a successful jump out, diffuser on the ground, and Dplus Kia lose the Capitao.
A big fan of that. The good old 1-for-1 trade, and that's going to be the play. And the best case scenario, you will get the freebie, you will stay alive. But just think about whoever you take down right now, if you had to have died on that jump out, it's super worth it. Either you clear the information gather of Solid Snake, the blitz on Falls, or the Capitao of Nears, or one of the 2 vertical operators. So CAG playing the game of disruption is going to be super high value, but, you know, she would actually get to stay alive, so it's just a complete win here. Then we see the ramp into action, break apart the floor. They double down with the sledge of Midi, who's also breaking the floor elsewhere inside a train. So 1 minute 30 seconds, I would say, is like a very usual time to get full map control. You lock down the staircases, you break the floors they're doing now, but they are down a player now, and it's going to be the most important one. It's the bombs at Executor in the Capitao. So I feel like you said before, guys, first round was a plan B victory for Dplus Kia. This is probably going to have to be the same story, because plan A losing the Capitao, I think that's in the grave.
Yeah, we'll see if that pivot is a success. Once again, like the opening round, they've had a pretty big window of opportunity to formulate that plan. Still, though, going to be a tricky prospect. In the meantime, we saw Anitin as well, gaining good information, aggressive Yokai Bakery side, and he's been constantly sending that outside for information. Looks a little bit goofy, but it is rather effective. Only 40 seconds now on the clock for Dplus Kia.
Yeah. one thing is when the Yokai drone sees where an attacker is, you get information on what to push. But where you see where they aren't playing from also gives you information. If no one's bakery, nobody's going to push it, which means it's going to be a back portion take and they're ready for it. Shuri playing by main door. It's going to be Chibisu inside of VIP. Here comes the blitz. Doesn't have any sort of canisters available for plays, but still gets the kill. Shutting down the blitz. Good trade there from both Levy and Musi though. So Dplus they get the control in the back portion, but they still lock out the bomb side. Up against just Annie now on the Echo in a 1v3.
That was a sharp shot onto Zaka, who was holding the corridor. Now Aniton will be essentially fully reliant on the Yokais.
Oh my god, they don't know.
Aniton, can he stay alive? Wins the kill.
Get the cam, get the cam.
Couldn't get on it in time, and the diffuser is secured. Again, another post plant for CAG. This one maybe slightly more winnable than the last, but low percentage at best. Isolated over towards Bakery. Of course, his position known. Does spot one close double, but only 25 seconds remains on that fuse. And I hold little hope for Aniton in being able to clutch out this round. Another good pivot from Dplus Kia, rewarded with their plan B.
Such a nice try. You know, it's so hard to be critical because Aniton played that almost as well as he could, but he went for the full reload before hopping on the cam, and he had to also reposition to behind the bakery desk to make sure that nobody's going to shoot him in the back. But you know, having the full vision as we do, had he just gotten the first kill, instantly hopped on the cam, there's a good chance he wins on the timer. Well done though from Dplus. They trade each other out successfully. Mind you, they started that push in a 4v5 deficit and somehow came out in a 3 versus 2. That is a super valuable trade-off there, only losing the blitz on the backs portion. We'll see it again here. Chibisu did have 2 soda canisters and a C4 in pocket. Maybe if those are tossed down a little bit earlier, you slow down the attackers. Nice ones there from Levion towards Wedding. Right here, kill, hop on cam. You have about, I don't know, half a second to get that Yokai off. But it's so hard in the chaos of the round. Also, like, you know, Aniton is thinking his own play. His teammates were screaming in his ears as well. Just figuring out what's actually going on the server there as a player can be so difficult.
Yeah, another nice try from CAG, but perhaps there is a trend starting to develop here on Cafe. Back-to-back rounds where the opening kill has been theirs. And unlike the group stage up until this point, a failure to convert that in the overwhelming majority of occasions. So if it is to happen once again, CAG need to be a little bit more resilient against that plan B or plan C that does get developed by the attack. Credit to Dplus Kia. I mean, their ability to pivot and find win cons has certainly been a strength. Yeah. I wouldn't even classify these first couple of rounds as big throws from CAG. They really haven't been. It's been really nice play from the attack. But pressure nonetheless. Over to Mining, tertiary site of choice for the final round before the additional bans are introduced. Valkyrie once again here in play for CAG, and Dplus Kia electing not to bring the IQ.
This is one of those things about not being challenged as much earlier in a stage. CAG, they've been, you know, undefeated. They've been on a hot streak, if you will. Dplus, they had a couple of question marks and almost didn't even make playoffs in top 4, or stage finals rather, in top 4 position. So when you get that struggle earlier on, you can kind of work through your problems, take it more serious, whatever the case might be, and learn before the deep BO3 games, which is happening right here. Because who won the best of 1 during groups between CAG and Dplus doesn't matter. It was in the very first play day. CAG were victorious, winning 7-4, 7-5, or whichever. But now we're way later in the stage, and this game matters much, much more, of course. Near's in the blitz, as he always seems to be. We'll approach the bomb site here, looking for a mining attack. And it's just Shuri, but no Warden. Arguably the perfect operator for this. Counters both the flashbangs and the smokes, and he's got a C4 in pocket. He's also got a teammate downstairs. His DD man again in the post, looking for that vert support.
Oh, here is the blitz.
They're gonna go for kills, it looks like.
Up close, can Sharif make those glasses worth it? Bounces off the shield, but still nets the kill. That's the diffuser down inside of Train. And surely this time around, CAG will be able to convert that advantage.
Okay.
And they do with ease. A flawless response from CAG by VARREL.
A full linear attack against the verticality, the C4s, and like I said, a Warden, the one upper that does not really fear a blitz in a 1v1. A perfect C4 tossed out, it bounced off the blitz shield and landed in the corner of the train door, saving CAG and disrupting Dplus's attack. Plan A not successful. It's been all about the plan B to Dplus. Operator Ben here. Are we thinking Asami? Are we thinking a pulse verticality? Are we thinking a Valkyrie actually?
I just don't want to play
and
IQ.
a blitz counter.
Yeah.
No, I gotta keep that flexible attacker lineup, right? You can now just play more open cards rather than playing for counter plays. The thing about the double shield ban is you still have the Blackbeard and the Fuse Shield on the board, and I don't know, maybe they're thinking, hey, if they ban a Warden, then the Blitz becomes a super big problem, and we can't have Warden, you know, in every single position, so there will be an isolated kill here, potentially. So I like the thinking there on the shield bans. They also do now have Aniton the Clash, which of course is a huge shield counter and almost doubles down as a pseudo Valkyrie, getting a ton of information you can use above, have a C4 playing down beneath the Clash, and that can easily net you a kill. We'll see what the big change will be, and if Nears or Dplus will actually opt to go for shield plays, or if they're done with that playstyle. Don't tell me they're gonna play IQ now. Come on, Falls. Come on. After all this.
Is it maybe in response to the potential pulse we've seen? I know Solus has been selected. Maybe
Yeah,
they spotted
must
that.
be.
Like, that's the only reason I can think of.
Like, if you're gonna play the IQ though, theoretically, is there a world where you leave the Valkyrie open, ban something else, and then just play the IQ yourself? Or do you just say, we don't want to deal with it, get the Valkyrie going, we'll play the IQ in case of like the Solus, the Pulse, whatever.
Well, we saw the Echo as well, round 2, yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's
Cafe
possible.
typically can be a little more difficult to actually drone out setups and find out who you're playing against, so the attacker repick's probably a little less effective as well. So, well, we'll see.
That's a good point.
Here is the Solus on display, and so Foles will have a pretty direct counter target that he may be able to identify. Zaka maybe potentially looking to jump out small bake. Could even pivot over towards double as well. Seemingly he is getting some yellow ping information for a jump out slash run out. And here we go. Will it be a success? Not quite. Doesn't find the timing. It's a little bit closer, I believe, midi on the bakery roof, on that balcony exit, but
Yeah.
their paths do not meet.
This is just like when I play Cafe in ranked, I always play Solus and Bakery looking for a run out, and I never find anybody. It's nice because you can check for the claymores and the air jazz, whatever else might stop you, but you gotta get the right timing on the repels. Instead, the fight happens on cocktail, gives you 2 big kills, shuts down diffuser carrier and the main push. That's gonna be some of those grenades and intel when the Deimos in the grave, same with the IQ. Well, look at the attacker lineup actually. Every single attacker can have frag grenades. The Striker has it, Gridlock Solid Snake has him, IQ and Deimos can have him. What is this attack?
Well, they still haven't flushed out the Clash, so we'll see what kind of influence that may have in the round. But again, this feels very eerily similar to rounds 1 and 2. Dplus Kia are still in a position to execute a plan B in this round, and the question will be, are CAG resilient to that fact?
Come on, wallbang it.
I think Levy has a read here.
Yeah, it has a sort of read. I think he thinks he's playing by the machine itself, not losing the hallway, lose the gunfight regardless. Saka's better in that one. And now CG gonna fight back because they have numbers all fall away. But no, you know CAG, they're always gonna take the fight if you give it to them. Mitty gets a trip, it's a 1v3, up against a clash, the Goyo fire, Toxic Babes, and only 30 seconds left on the clock. A C4 tossed out doesn't find anything, but it does matter because here is Annie.
Yeah, that Clash still standing at the end of the round, and it prevents any isolated ones from taking place. Another good round by CAG, and really in the blink of an eye, they've been able to reverse fortunes after what was a pretty concerning start. We now stare at a 2-2 scoreline, and things are looking a little bit more normalized. I'm sure you could argue that in this sort of region, 2 attacks typically is okay, honestly, even irrespective of the map. So Dplus Kia are probably still pretty comfortable, not too deterred. CAG have stepped up their game though in the last couple of rounds, and they'll be looking to try and squash that momentum. It's Kitchen for round 5. Dplus Kia successful last time out on this objective. Unfortunately for them here in the 4th though, never really got their footing on the map, which can sometimes be a symptom of the design of Cafe, where it can be very difficult to fight for map control at times, and CAG doing a better job in making it a challenge.
Yeah, in particular, it's Chibisu, I think that's been the big success story in those 2 victories. Disrupting the play early, you know, taking out the Capital, the jump out in the 2 rounds ago, in the previous, getting 2 kills on Cocktail Rappel right before execute. He's been the one to start off hot from CAG, and his teammate just kind of finished the round afterwards. In terms of preparation here, you know, CAG gave us some inside information from Anderton in his Twitter specifically. He said, I just got a 230 kilogram squat, personal best updated. I've prepped hard for tomorrow's match against Dplus Kia. He's pretty much saying he's just lifting super hard in the gym as he's prepped for these matches. And he has become this icon, I would say, in Siege for flexing and posing and whatever else in real life. But it's gonna be his teammates of Shurb and Chibisu in the server that'll do the heavy lifting instead, finding those opening picks.
How many kilograms?
Again, you're just letting Annie do the flex work. 230.
230.
230.
I think that's about
Personal
3
best.
versions of me. Maybe, what, 4 of you? Something like that.
Yeah, it's like 4 of me, yeah, something like that. And he just casually squatting it back to back. Few shield mentioned. Ooh. I'm a big believer of this one. The PMM does like, I don't know, 69, I believe, nice damage per shot.
Well, now Sharif, who's on fire at the moment. Back-to-back kills in round 5. And that now marks 5 straight opening kills for CAG. So the early round from them here on Cafe has been rather dominant defensively. And unlike the opening portion where there were 4v5s and Dplus Kia could formulate reasonable backup plans, this time once again 3 to 5, and they're in a rough position, still fighting their way into the map.
You see the small adaptations here. DD-Man onto Nari now, trying to get some lasers for... Oh, doesn't matter. Towards TB to support that VIP position. But Shubi stealing the show for this round. Just running around, getting kill after kill after kill. Leaving just a few demos together at 2v5. Both outside the building, mind you. But only 60 seconds to go. A complete lockout, a big shift. Another one. 4 kills. Go for the ace. He's going to sprint down Falls now. He's looking for it.
Give him
and
the
already
ping.
doing the job for him.
Give him the ping.
Here he comes.
Falls is susceptible, but he gets him down to the ground. CAG win the round, but stripping away the opportunity for the ace. CAG now finding themselves, though, in the lead, Nick.
Yep, just like that. And speaking of aces, I feel like we've seen so many in the last few playdays. Oh, if I'm not mistaken, I think every playday since the stage finals, we've seen at least 1 ace. And we only have 2 BO3s in a given day. That's so many. We saw, I want to say 1 ace in a 4K yesterday alone from Mr. Punch. We saw Crit J with an ace. Yeah, we did in Library on Chalet. So there's been a lot of big moments from individual players. Please wait a moment. We shall wait a moment. CAG, they're looking hot. And I mean, given the operator bans, like the more you think about it, like the castle, the Wamai, what is CAG supposed to do? Can they bunker down and just hold the bomb site? Probably not with these operator bans. So instead, they ban the ops that they can't fight comfortably, the Monty and the Blitz in this case. And then they just run out the building, they take their individual fights. Dplus, they also recognize, hey, they're playing C4s, they're playing vertically, let's ban the Valkyrie, play some IQ, let's try and counter the Vert. But still, the horizontal battle has been won by Chibisu, by Shurip, almost every single round. It's how they've won their 3 rounds currently. Oh, okay, look at this.
I'm looking, Nick, I'm looking.
100% defensive win rate.
Doesn't look great
now,
for the
Cafe,
attack.
very low pick rate map here in APL. And in APAC North, hold up. Should we have a little look here? Just how few times we've seen this game, this map rather, being played. Once. It was played once in group stage, and then of course once here in stage finals. Nice.
I had to look across as well. That was the 3rd ace that we've seen across APAC North for the stage. Gatarada and Akayu had found the other 2 leading up to today. So a rarity. But an interesting state in the game now. An opportunity for CAG to extend their lead Again, it really does feel like blink and you miss it. They were off to a rough start, and they have turned it around so quickly. Dplus Kia, unfortunately, early round proving to be so costly for them so far over the course of this match. Again, the clash, though, will be deployed here from Aniton. It's now the 3rd round in a row, and it has been causing problems for Dplus.
CAG, they got much more structure in recent time than before. They can play different play styles, playing a lot more around reinforcements, utility, information. And this game of Cafe, I was trying to say the verticality, but Mitzi's better. Finds the angle to Shuri and shuts down one of the star players. That's going to be the Warden. It's going to be that C4. Now, they're going to have 2 other C4s in play, but they know it's risky to go for them. And if you throw out a C4 and don't find a kill, you just don't gain anything. So it's always going to be a bit of a balance between using them early and just holding on to them. Look at this. And he just flanks the right hallway with the clash, walks in, takes a kill, walks back out. No one's even trying to challenge him on the right staircase afterwards. So the one round now in a while where CAG lose the early advantage, they trade it right back.
And he pushes back up. Aniton catching some good timing in this round. Drone spotted out, one of them dealt with a call deploy, but Aniton at this point likely to sort of just eat that, and he will. Needs to be a little bit cautious. Oh no!
Oh no.
Overly aggressive and caught out by Muzi. The rest of Dplus now will scatter. Deploy this attack into the objective. A critical error made by Aniton, who up until that point on the clash had been playing so well, but a missed time will catch him out. And the rest of CAG, as a result, who have forfeited this site control, now under so much pressure, but Chibisu able to fight back as Falls attempts to plant coverage from Midi and Muzi, who hits from the side. Zaka in the post needs to find 3 and at least finds the first. Muzi is low on HP. And so an opportunity presents, had to hit that swing. Oh, bad timing with the shotgun, but still nets the down, but a 1v1 into the Blackbeard. This is a tricky situation. We'll be looking to try and close ground, close that gap. And Falls will maintain distance. The frag grenade will keep Zaka at bay. 15 seconds on the fuse. Will he look to stick it? No, he can't. Looks for the melee, misses. And Falls played the timer to perfection, nets the kill. And Dplus Kia will equalize the half. It's a 3-3 scoreline. Jake, please give your expert thoughts.
I just thought he was just Jake.
Yeah.
What? Michael.
Hello. So yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean 3-3 half at the end of the day on Cafe actually does kind of lead into where Cafe sits at the moment. It's not really ultra defender sided or ultra attacker sided 50-50. The opening kills we were kind of just discussing there, obviously fire straight for CAG. It's going to usually set you up for success, but credit to Dplus for at least turning the tide in those first 2 rounds. And then well played from Falls in the 1v1 there. Just doesn't matter. Playing the Blackbeard probably should win that 9 times out of 10 and does.
Equally well played from Zaka to bring that back to a, from a 1v3, getting that as close as he did. But I think those are just like the forced errors that happen in APAC North are so much more obvious. Like Aniton maybe getting a little too aggressive there on the clash. Look, we're hyper fixating on the last round because we have just seen that unfold. But if you look throughout the rest of this half, Dplus, when they get into the building and they get comfortable in the building, they seem to have a really good read on their attack. But this is the problem with CAG, and it's always been the problem with CAG. When they flip, when they get aggressive, it's very hard to stop them.
Yeah, and I think we are still fixated on that last round. I think they'll be pretty disappointed they let that one go. It was 5v3 in the end. Aniton, as you said, got a little bit too aggressive down that wide hallway on the clash. And I think for the majority of that half, DWK were really struggling to deal with that clash. And we saw that. We saw them end up banning the Valk. Probably didn't want to rely too heavily on the IQ for the rest of that half, so they decided to ban that out. I think maybe the clash ban would have helped them a bit more for those last few rounds. It probably should be 4-2 to the way of CAG right now, but it's an even match. And they're moving over to the attack now. Attack, historically, at least for me, Cafe has been slightly attacker-sided, but in recent times it's probably evened out a bit more.
Yep.
We'll see if they've got anything prepped.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. One thing that I continue to find interesting, Jake, is around teams that, very similar to the Chiefs result earlier this week, Plants being a very heavy part of the win con for Dplus there. I think it was all 3 rounds they won came on the back of Plants. I mean, I don't know whether that's something that we're looking into, but I feel as though APAC's never really been a region that's relied heavily on Plants.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't use the word reliant in terms of getting the round win where it's like we have to plant or we're not going to win. I think it's just probably more a case of how the round does play out. Moving away from that, though, Rob, because I did want to quickly touch on Chibisu, because what a stage he's had. And again, you think about an upper bracket final such as this, and clearly a difference maker, 8-4, 2-0 on the entry. There's no one really on Dplus that's going to that sort of level. But Dplus, for me, have always been that sort of team where, as a core 5, they're all going to play at a pretty similar level. CAG are not like that at the moment. At current, it's the Chibisu show. We know that CAG over the years certainly have been, probably closer to 5 individuals that are pretty evenly matched. A 133 EPS this stage. Next best is Woogie 120. That's a big gap, Vinny. So Chibisu's been that good. 1.92 KD with a 1.11 KPR. That's kills per round. The only player in the region above 1, and he's 1.11. So that, again, states how good he's been, averaging 75% cost. And in this game, he's now at a 156 EPS. If Dplus deal with Chibisu, they deal with CAG.
Yeah, and that's been the case for a little while now, especially throughout this stage. And he's going to be sort of relying on his teammates as well now. Shureep had a really good round in that first half. I think he got a quad kill in that second to last round and was able to clean that up. I mean, I think for me, something that we see very often is Anaton playing those shield characters, and it looks like he's going to go into the fuse. I'm not sure if it's the shield yet. Monty is banned, but last week in a few of those games when he moved over to more of a flex role where he was playing stuff like Habana, he still got the ability to frag out. We haven't seen him too much on the rifles throughout this stage, so if at any point we see him back on the rifles, that could be an extra tool they could use.
All right, well, I know the boys should be ready. Obviously, we're into the round. Rob, thank you for your thoughts. Back over to you. Michael!
Thank you. Jake! You actually had some good points on the desk, so thank you very much. Chibisu has been phenomenal over the course of this stage, Nick. It's Levido to find the opening kill here in round 7 as we jump straight back into the action. Bakery will be the side of choice here from Dplus Kia in what is shaping up to be an even first map.
Dude, that is, what now, 11 Wamai bans over the course of like a play day and a quarter. It is crazy how big this shift has been. I mean, I'm not surprised because he is a very strong operator, but I'm honestly just surprised at how quickly so many teams have picked up on it and willingly played and, banned the operator. Because we have seen many times in the past where it might take, a few weeks or a few days or a few play days from other regions to get inspiration from. Not with this one. We all read the patch notes. We all said, that sounds kind of scary. Yeah. Let's not do that just now. It's a tough time, though, for CT by VARREL. They did double down on the verticality. They got the Buck who died early, and they got, thankfully, Saka on the Ram. But in terms of strategy and plant capability, this round is kind of cooked. They have to go fishing for a couple of kills in the vert and hope that Dplus somewhere make a mistake. They don't have those strong bombs that execute enabling operators like your Ying or your Capitao or a Munty that can walk in and get your yellow ping information. So they have Annie on the fuse shield day. That's great, guys. But yeah, Nears is playing Clash, like the biggest shield counter in the game. Anderson shouldn't be able to exist in the server as long as Nears goes for the right counterplay. But as I said, Nears takes a fair bit of damage off screen and now could actually die to a fuse canister later on, maybe.
Yeah, he got chunked big time. Not entirely sure as to how.
Oh, must have been the fuse. Oh my.
Some awkward body language from the fuse.
He's dancing. He's dancing.
Still wins it out. Are you kidding me? Dplus Kia will retain advantage, so still in a pretty good position. Anaton low, and Chibisu will need to try and play coverage here. And that one air jab available could be pretty key against the Clash if he's able to make that land.
Yeah.
He's looking for it, but the opportunity hasn't quite presented. 25 seconds on the clock. And a flash for a bit of space does probably more harm than good. Air jab deployed, but that doesn't land. A good reposition from Niz. He's played the Clash well in this round. Anaton left on an island, and Dplus Kia will take their opening defensive attempt.
Oh, unlucky. It's one of those rounds where if you're an IGL or trying to call the shots, you just realize that you done messed up, And DD, man, being a very vocal player, probably was the one saying, guys, I'm gonna go do the verticality, it's free. Just vaults over the railing outside the building and gets caught mid-vault animation. He was a little bit too eager to get into the action, perhaps. And that is the difficulty of Cafe sometimes. As an attacker, getting in the building, getting that first initial foothold can be very tricky because your ways in are going to be a window vault, which is going to be, you know, stuck in animation, dropping down the hatch or dropping down the skylight. You just, again, giving away so much information. So you gotta do really good drone work, understand exactly what's clear and what isn't, deal with the horizontal fighting, with the verticality of the C4s, and like we saw from Dplus when they were on the attack, that can be a difficult thing to do. Especially in the first couple of rounds before you figure out the pacing of the game. CG by VARREL, they had their own defensive strategy. They tried to play passive in the first few rounds, they got punished. Then they started playing that disruptive gameplay, Chibisu, Shuri, they kept lashing out for opening kills. And in Dplus, they gotta figure, okay, we see how they're playing the game now. Let's get the third operator ban and make our own adaptations. That's what I'm watching here for CAG by VARREL. When they get like 2-3 attack rounds on the board, they should feel a lot more comfortable about the playstyle at hand, and that's where we gotta see their real level and their ability to adapt.
Yeah, I'll be intrigued to see as well how they develop over the course of this half. Showed good fight in the first, but Dplus Kira landing some blows of their own in response. Double Nitro in play for Dplus Kia here in the 8th round. And the information courtesy of Valkyrie likely in support. Sharif tempting fate, contesting Niz on the stairs, but Niz will think better of that. Unless maybe he's trying to set up a Nitro play cocktail, but that would be quite risky. Final mirror window to be deployed by Niz as he rotates away. Facing shop side for the drop down from CAG. Intrigued to see how the attack looks to approach this site.
Yeah.
I imagine it's probably going to be train side. We'll see.
That's going to be tricky. You know, Sophia just got buffed with a 3rd concussion, a 3rd soft breach, but it doesn't deal with the mirror windows like an Ash. And DD-Man's Twitch drones are all in the grave, so it does feel like they're a bit limited on what they can actually do on top floor. Musi gets a kill elsewhere. It actually was in piano, I believe. Could be a player on the rappel. Yeah, it was indeed on stage. This seems like CAG just don't know what they want to go for. Diffuse on the ground, they're on the windows, they're holding angles. Only one player in the building is DD-Man on Twitch in the red staircase from the basement walking up. And they could go for a side hit rush, sure, but Saka West the diffuser is way off to the other side of the bomb side.
DD able to slip into mining. Position now revealed as he shoots a couple shots. Levy in the meantime finds Zaka, and Niz will compound the pain for CAG in this second attack. It could be flawless here from Dplus Kia. As CAG by VARREL are seemingly stunted at the moment. Not having a great grasp on how to approach these setups. A little bit stalled out, a little bit lost at the moment, and Dplus Kia are capitalizing.
It's hard to play the gap-finding meta playstyle on Cafe because it's a very compact map similar to Border, where a lot of defenders can help each other from a long line of sight, or as I keep saying, the verticality with the C4s, etc. It feels like CAG are missing a step 1 in like the 1-2-3 meta. You know, step 1, 5-man take piano. Okay, air jab the pixel door, now they can't retake it. Then you gotta get a step 2. They seem like they're just fishing and looking for the gaps, looking for a couple of kills, which is so challenging and so difficult. And what we saw actually could have been good. DD-Man found a gap on the red staircase and walked all the way into the bomb site. But then there was a small issue on their end, because he had 2 smoke grenades. He used one of them for the feed holes or the head holes into the pillar wall from the red hallway, and he had one more in pocket. Sake on the ramp actually jumped in the bomb set window and mining right behind DD and just died to an enemy to his right. Had they communicated that, DD could have turned around, thrown a smoke towards the window to shroud the jump in, and now you have pressure on the bomb site. And it's very important to communicate, hey guys, this is safe and this isn't. Because if you just have your teammate go, guys, I'm in the bomb site, I found the gap. If you don't ask them, how do I join you? How do I get there? What's safe? And you take the gamble of just jumping in the window, you can die. Now in a 3v5, defuse on the ground, they pop the Gory Fire, the round is completely over. So it feels like it's a bit of a communicative issue here from CAG by VARREL, and we got to look at players like Eniton, super experienced, highly, high-profile player, and DD-Man, who did go from the coaching role into a playing position and has been the primary shot caller since he joined the roster.
And we'll see if CAG can mount a comeback. We've been in a somewhat similar position before. And of course, at the start of the game, Dplus Key are off to a hot start. First 2 rounds, CAG responded, but I think it's probably fair to say that on attack, if you're lacking initiative, it's going to be a little more difficult to find your way back into the match. So that problem solving is very much going to be tested. Let's see how it does develop. This is looking like a pretty extensive Denari setup at the moment from Nears, covering a lot of this space. I mean, good coverage from Shop, Skylar, I mean, everywhere, really.
It's smart because the big point is that right here by Mitzi, that's where like 3 of the 4 lasers connect, but it's underneath a little metal trolley in the corner, so they can't get shot from the skylight because it's bulletproof. So you can throw like one singular frag grenade and you can clear a lot of those laser beams. But if you don't have a frag grenade in the right location to realize that, that's going to be so hard to deal with because look at that. It's great utilization of the map design. And it just creates this spider web, denying the default plan, cigar walking, new balcony, skylight drop, long desk push. Like, it's covering so much.
Yeah. It's going to be a good test then for CAG in identifying that and formulating a plan to deal with it. In the meantime, Util getting dumped over towards washrooms. And Muzi will forfeit that space for now. The Valkyrie will rear her ugly head back inside the server. Ugly for the attack. And it's back-to-back appearances for her, and once again, no IQ in counterplay for CAG.
It still feels like CAG is kind of sitting outside, though. Only 2% into the building, you drop down the red hatch, but entering piano and entering cigar, that's going to be your first foothold. One of the only areas you can somewhat get control of without being contested too heavily. But then they gotta get, all of piano, freezer, stock, try and look towards a plant somewhere. Up against the C4s, the Razor Blooms of Thorn, the lasers of the Nari. The Valcams constantly yellow pinging you. They find the Valcam in piano, great. Now they got their foothold, but they only have 60 seconds to work with. And only way to cause chaos is gonna be DD-Man with the Yinkadelas and the smokes, but sure gets a kill onto Muzi. That's a great start for CAG. With that, they gain more and more control. C4 tossed out, juked by Chibisu. He stays alive, but takes a fair bit of damage.
Falls on the ground as well. And so effectively a 3 versus 3. I don't know how Midi found himself under the red hatch drop, but either way, he's now dead. And now 40 seconds remain for CAG to look to confirm this. How much of the Denari setup have they been able to deal with? Falls in a position where he's unlikely to be brought back up, and a deep drone too, in fact, for CAG will confirm the positions of these remaining defenders.
They have no information. You can tell right off from Dplus. They're just looking everywhere. And at the same time, they hear the rappel on the balcony. They're going to go for the race. Going to jump on in.
Oh, Sharif.
They get the trade, though.
Aggressive, but
covers
yeah, the Nitro takes him out of play. A 1 versus 1. Good fight from CAG in this round, but Levy now can look to leverage time. Can DD-Man find this kill up close with the shotgun? Levy misses again, but the third strike will land. And Dplus Kia take the round.
Oh my days, the problem solving was actually great there from CAG, using the last bit of heart destruction, baiting the res, getting the trades and the crossfires happening, repelling at the same time as they're pushing down the long desk. But the Denari lasers, they slowed down a lot of that round. I think 2 separate attackers got hit by the laser, and then of course had to turn back around, look away from the enemies, shoot the laser beam itself, and then progress the push. So many small moments happening there, but it's gonna be a Dplus clutch in the end. Asami bend away hasn't been the most instrumental operator for Dplus's defense, as I gotta say. It's been much more about the utility and denying map space. Asami is all about holding the map area, you play deep in piano, use the keeper barriers, maybe you die, maybe you don't. That hasn't really been the style here, and it does leave Clash open for the remainder of this game, which we all know that Nears will abuse for as many rounds as it takes for Dplus to lock this in regulation.
Oh, so close. So close yet so far there for DD-Man. The shotgun clearly superior at that close range. Dplus Kia 4 rounds in a row. Now on map point. Cafe, the selection of CAG by VARREL. And this could be their undoing in the best of 3, provided Dplus Kia go on to win the map. I don't know if, given what we've seen, the style in which CAG have played so far, if their labs is going to hold up, it could be a real struggle, especially in that attacking half. Because here on Cafe, the problem solving has not quite been there.
And the story from the couch was that the first map is likely going to decide the entirety of this best of 3, or at the very least show us who's deeply in favor. So a little bit more concern there from the side of CAG by VARREL. They need to have a better showcase here, that's for sure. They cannot go down 3-7, and like you said, struggling on the attacks with the problem solving, the communication. Because this is a best of 3. You can lose the first map and there is a chance, but if you lose the first map so one-sidedly, struggling with the, I'm gonna say like the basic fundamentals of Cafe, that's not a good look. So if they can kind of warm up into the series right now, get a couple more rounds, get a bit more practice if you will, they're gonna look a lot stronger for Nighthaven. An issue though. It's gonna be a clash as mentioned earlier. That was the thorn in CAG's side previously, because the main push can get stopped immediately by a sole operator. But they also lost DD Man previously. Now they have 5 attacks alive so far, and they got the top floor cleared out. They're on the primary floor, just dry picking all the corners, and they've done so at 1 minute 40-second mark. That's great. 2 vertical operators. They can pop the hatch with the fuse, which takes a bit of damage actually. They have all the right tools for the job.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of vert exposed here, courtesy of this combination. And that's naturally going to disperse that defense out horizontally. And we're already seeing that as evident in the player card positions from Dplus Kia. This could be a spicy execute for a key and critical round in the series. CAG by VARREL just trying to survive here on Cafe. Not much has gone their way in this second half. 3 cluster charges remain for Anaton. A Rotero still up. 1 explosive courtesy of Chibisu. So a little bit of util still standing here.
Yeah. I mean, mind you, you're not playing the fuse here likely for the gadget, but more the secondary heart breaching, because that's how they get the hatch opened up. But the cluster charge can, of course, be used with the main push to disrupt the crossfires, but Shurub goes down first to Levy, so looking worse and worse for CAG.
The opening kill conversions being good from Dplus Kia thus far. A fight outside going the way of Levy. Zaka's low. DD Man pushing Bark, and they try and land a pinch. Maybe some life in the round, but there's only 10 seconds on the clock. A timing.
Oh, the timing?
Oh, and another. And so the clash is all alone. Goes for the 180.
What?
And CAG have seemingly out of nowhere been able to win that round.
How?
I don't know.
I mean, you can win that on time, right? 2 brow freeze, Clash, keep the shield up, walk backwards for 6 seconds, timer runs out, case on the ground for CAG. On paper, it's an easy round, but in the chaos of that moment, it's going to be CAG by VARREL pulling out ahead. And when things, they get really messy, I mean, that's where CAG's old playstyle, it kicks into gear. Instincts take over, and they thrive in that chaos. That's Anderson dying outside with a fuse, fighting against a DMR with his pistol. Like, nothing was logical, yet CAG did come out on top.
Yeah, 20 seconds on the clock. A 2-player advantage. As you mentioned as well, there
I don't
are
know about that from
3
years.
Zotos left, plus Clash. Dare I say, that is one of the harder throws we've probably seen over the course of the APL finals so far. That was...
Hey,
sure, they caught a couple of bad timings, but that was pretty rough for the defense.
you gotta give some slack to 2bro, okay? 2bro died throwing out the solo canister freeze.
Yeah.
So technically there was only 2 left. He was trying to slow down the round, but one could argue that he probably shouldn't have done it because, well, he got swung. It's one of those, I'm doing the right thing, team, and I'm dead.
Yeah. Stage can be a cruel game
We've
at
all been
times.
there.
We'll see if that round does have meaningful impact, though. CAG still requiring 2 to push overtime.
It's all about building up that confidence, though. And while it wasn't a clean round by any means, a round win is a round win, and it's gonna help your mental, your momentum. And your Dplus Kia, you know, you slowly feel that match point 4-3 or 6-3, 6-4, 6-5. And just like that, things can turn.
I think it was
Dplus Kia starts giving up too much map control. That could change it.
it was the wise man himself, Jake Xenox Venditti, yesterday several times mentioning that sometimes it doesn't matter how you win a round, especially on attack. If you just get that round on the board, it can mean a lot. Could throw off the opposing team. Maybe Dplus Kia will be rattled a little bit. I do fear that they could be susceptible to that. You know, losing a round in that fashion is frustrating naturally, and some teams deal with that better than others. So we'll see if it has a flow-on effect here as Dplus Kia looking to close it out. Mining the site of choice here for round 11. Oh, first fight. Goes the way of Midi. Quick trade elsewhere though. Sharif finding ground on Nears.
Okay. So even blows for now. And TB2 honestly playing the gridlock, not the biggest loss. Sharif though is good for another one. On the rappel, deep angle. Finds Midi beneath the skylight. It's also an important C4 removed from play. Actually, it's not. He's playing Impact on Valkyrie. I take it back. It's not an important C4 move to play. It's another one of those pesky Valkyrie Impact grenades. I guess they wanted the rotations. Here, the fact that they don't have that many shotguns. Only playing the TCSGs on Levy and Falls, the DMR angles, technically. It's a slot shotgun, but for purposes of the ACOG, it's a DMR, basically.
Well, Muzzy would have shotgun, right?
Let's see,
He got
though.
it back, yeah? It means he should be
Oh,
running
yeah,
it.
Muzzy does have a shotgun. It's true. Surely he's running
Just
it.
like the good old days.
So you have one primary shotgun, TCSGs, and then the impact grenades. That's plenty.
Nitrocell from Levy. A pre-place. Elects not to blow it immediately. Could be the ace up the sleeve here for Dplus Kia. As CAG retain player advantage into the final minute of the round. And Muzi's being able to clear below now rather effectively. Has a couple of flank options later. And the Nitro.
Mind you, the Dokkaebi change as well. It's 14-second cooldown per player, so when you call the defenders is very important here because you will have to wait afterwards. But Shurib gets all 3 kills in the round so far. They've been just Musi and Falls together, but now a pre-placed C4 downstairs.
Ooh, nice long angle from Falls. As Muzi's pressured down below. His position is known and the cutoff should be held. This should be CAG surviving for another round. They scatter onto site, 2 players to cover. Time won't be a concern. And without Nitro, Muzi will be in strife. CAG might be able to push overtime here.
Okay. One more round away. It would be a classic way to fall, no? You push all the way to 5-6 and then you lose 7-5. They gotta do it one more time. Mind you, there's been a very big kind of reliance here on Shurib as an individual, finding those opening engagements, trading his teammates as well. Hell will call it tactical timeout. That's the coach of Dplus Kia, who you see in the middle of your screen. He's, during the player interviews, or I guess in this case, the coach interview that we've had with him, he's a very, fundamentally oriented kind of coach. It's not a lot about the crossfires, the discipline, the strategy. It's not so much about the mental from the looks of things. But if you look at the Dplus Kia lineup, you know, there's some pretty good experience. Musi, former world champion. Levy, Mitty, Nears, Falls, all played in Tier 1 in Brazil for many years in the past, alongside or against some very high-profile names in the region. So it very much should just be about the things that are going wrong. I don't think these guys are going to be too bothered by the fact that they're losing these rounds, but mostly they got to fix the problems of how they're losing these rounds.
Last 2 rounds, Dplus Kia have had the opening kill, failure to convert. Eerily similar to the start from CAG, where they were the victims of that fate. It's down to Kitchen for the final round of regulation, the 3rd appearance in this second half. It's been a 1-1 split so far up until this particular point. It was also a 1-1 split back in the first half where it saw 2 appearances. So it's been truly a coin flip site up until this point. And one of these 2 teams will be looking to break that.
I'm curious, guys, how you feel about the opening kill as a stat. Because on paper, whoever gets the first kill, they get the opening pick, right? But in the previous round, for example, Dplus got the opening pick, CG got a kill 1 second after, so it's a 1-for-1.
Yeah.
It's very much like a null point, so to speak. Do you feel like it's a stat that in a perfect world, you could filter like an opening kill is only an opening kill when it's an isolated kill, as in Team A gets a kill, and they have that 5v4 for at least X amount of seconds, 5, 10 seconds, for example. Now it's an opening kill. Whereas if you get the kill, immediately trade it back within 2 seconds, is it actually an opening kill at that point?
Well, we have the
Does that make sense?
official trade metric, right? But I'm fairly certain that's only if it's directly onto the same player, right? It doesn't account for those indirect trades. That's what I would call it. I think there should be a secondary stat for an indirect trade, and whatever that window ends up being, whether it's 2 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, it probably would maybe do a better job in highlighting opening kills that truly do give a team a significant advantage. And to be fair, even on the occasion that it is, say, a 2-second trade window of 5 seconds, there are sometimes occasions where you get the opening kill, but you might lose a more valuable operator early round, right? So it's not the most clear-cut number, but let's be real, I don't think there's really a number or a stat in Siege that is, because it's pretty abstract at times. So it's difficult. It's difficult.
That's a very good point.
Ooh, this nitro
Remember, I
looks
had
scary.
the debate with Intero a couple of years back. He was like, oh, yeah, they've gotten 4 opening kills in a row. I'm like, yeah, they have, but they've lost 2 people right after. So it's like, did they actually achieve that opening pick or not? But Siege is a game of nuance. It's a game of the very, very fine details, right? Goyo dies, but you trade with a Capital. We all know who's winning that.
Yeah.
Capital has active utility in pocket. Goyo has pre-placed all in prep phase. So if you're a spectator of the game, whether you work in the broadcast, it's a lot to keep track of. And I thank and have respect for anyone who attempts and actively watches the game for a long time, because it's a lot. We're all trying to do our best. Verticality goes up with the C4 at the exact same moment. The nice DD member could have been a free kill. Thankfully, he stays alive. Will get revived by Saka, who was in the nearby area. But look at the timer, 50 seconds. They don't have any real openings, no kill. In fact, they actually lose a member, as DD will get confirmed right after being revived by Niels on the exact same angle, leaving what seems like, again, everything up to Anakin on the shield to find that opening and get inside the bomb site at some point.
Oh, it's a clear, definitive opening kill for Dplus Kia, and indeed he does. The threat of the fuse, does eventually net it.
There we go.
20 seconds, and the drop to follow from CAG, a double commit. Will Dplus Kia be able to deny this push and close out the map, or is OT calling? I think it might be. Levy tries to go big, but traded out, and Foles goes for a long, long flank, stalled out by the gridlock. And the scoreline surely will read 6-6 in a moment's time. These track stingers are making the flank even more challenging. Foles standing little chance in being able to recover this round for Dplus Kia. CAG have fought back really well. And 3 players staring at the bottom of Brown stairs. Overtime calls.
Just like that, we have a game on our series. Or a game on our series, we have a map on our hands, rather. Oh man, words are hard. I'm not sure exactly what the shift has been here for CAG. There's no one aspect where I'm like, oh, they solved the communication issue, they solved the pacing, they started finding more opening picks, because that's around where DD gets injured, gets revived, then DD dies. They can't clear Niels in the corner, but the 3rd fuse charge thankfully gets the kill. And with that, Anakin walks to the bomb site, ADS as a second defender, starts planting, and then they just watch the flanks, and they cut off the map in half, essentially, the bomb site in half. Great job by CT VARREL. It almost feels like they're simplifying the rounds, getting a very clear plan A, but they're not getting to that first step in a very clean fashion. But they've been more clutch. Whether it's going to be an individual player stepping up, whether it's going to be about the chaos of the execute working well together, they found themselves into a comeback position. They're on defense now. They're going towards the reading library bomb site. They can play the vertical game, and they're actually big shift here. Kaid and the Mira. So they're trying to shift the strategy now. They can lock down the walls, not give Dplus the far angles. They can start playing the mirror windows to disrupt the entries, and it's just going to give Dplus many more things to worry about and stretch that attack and lineup, right? You want to worry about the mirror windows? Okay, now you got to play the Ash. Okay, there's a Kai clone in that mirror window. Now you got to deal with the EMP with either a frag grenade or sorry, you gotta deal with the Kai Claw with an EP or a frag grenade or rather. So do you gotta play Thatcher all of a sudden? It's just giving you all these different things. Why you also wanna have flank watching, entrying, heart breaching. It's so many things to worry about. And for Dplus in this one, they got Nomad and the Gridlock. So a big focus here on stopping CAG by VARREL from moving around the building too much. But if you could CAG setup, they don't want to move. They want to play in those strong fortified corners by the Chimera. So it feels like to me that CAG, they have the better read for this one.
Well, here's an interesting fact for Dplus Kia. Up until this point, they had a 100% match point conversion, 5 out of 5 rounds.
Ooh.
Well above the league average of 63%. They've squandered a couple of opportunities here on Cafe to close it out. And now on the attack, they could well be regretful of how those rounds did conclude. Sharif gets the first. It's the Blackbeard in the bin.
Big.
Fights elsewhere, though, do go in favor of Dplus Kia. Still a little bit fearful, though, of their ability to clear up above. The mirror's still up. It could be certainly a challenge as Anaton now peels back. Chibisu under pressure from the Dokkaebi, but has to eat that payload.
Oh, risky.
He's eager to push forward, but Mitty cuts out the cross. Dplus Kia, after losing Falls, have fought their way back into the round.
CG losing to their own angles and their own rotation on top floor. Not having the full knowledge of the setup perhaps there. Bit of a shame to go down. And he will tank the Dokkaebi call because checking camps right now doesn't matter. You have 3 dead teams to do it for you. Dplus, they have one more way to find them though. The solid snake, if on the same floor, can just use his scanner, see the exact location, just happen to Anaton. And the worst part is, Nears can do this from the outside of the building, having no risk of getting swung by the last few members here of DD and Annie. There's 60 seconds to go though. Dplus are trying to reset the round, slow things down, just again, as I said, play the intel game. Whereas CAG, they're desperate to go for a last shot because in a 2v4, they gotta try and get back to even ground.
Yeah, the snake has been so valuable for Dplus Kia, and Anderton just gets slammed over towards Laundry. DD man to put up a final stand, drops one. Shotgun in hand.
Not to be.
Caught in a pinch. A tricky position. He's been able to escape through 90 for now, but should be a short reprieve, you would imagine. Plant to be secured here by Nears. Pinch still in place, and Levy finally nets the kill. Dplus Kia net the round in the end. It was a poor start losing the Blackbeard, but able to find picks, and with that back on match point for the 3rd time.
Unlucky. Again, so much work just for it to go back to this same result of
correction,
playing
actually,
from
Nick.
behind.
Sorry, it's the 4th time they've been on match point, so they've had a lot of chances.
Oh no. But I mean, I will still stand by the fact that the comeback going into OT and finding a couple of rounds and playing better and better, it is going to set up CAG, regardless of outcome of Cafe, up for the future of this BO3. But imagine, just imagine they make this comeback happen in OT. They take Cafe, throw a spanner in the works. Because it's a huge curveball for CG to go to Cafe. Let's prep work against them. Let's make expectations from their enemies of what the playstyle is going to be. We see a bit of a back and forth swing. On the graphic, you see it right there. We're taking turns, they're taking 3 to 4 rounds in a row. And now we're in OT, which means a best of 3 effectively, and Dplus took the first. It's been a very even game here for the majority of Dplus's side. Falls a little bit behind on the kills, but he's playing the shield operators, playing passive util, etc. 13 the highest fragger, 5 on the bottom. For CAG, they have Sacker and 15 kills. With DD, similar position to Falls, right? Playing the more supportive role and having some struggles early, admittedly so.
Would you believe it? Zach is up to 15 picks. He hasn't been involved in a single entry duel. Hasn't found a kill or died first in a single round, which is a testament to his ability to
he's a baiter.
To have impact. You could say that.
Oh, I'm kidding. No, I mean, every great team, they have what I call like a soldier, somebody who you just say, hey, you go in there and you just like see what happens.
At least on attack, right? He was
what?
He was playing basically Ram that entire half. So if your Ram's getting involved at entry duels, he's doing something wrong. So.
No, exactly. But you gotta have a player who can say, hey, you gotta go in and get the kill because you said, I'm playing the Ram. I can't take a gunfight until I've used my gadget. Same if you're a Thermite or a Capitao, you gotta wait till it's your turn to take the fight. But you gotta have that player where you go, hey, you go in that area and just clear the roam. And they go, yes, I'll do my best. And you go there. And then you have players on the Ram, on the Capitao, on the Thermite, for example, playing in a close proximity that can play the trade game. So the fact that CAG has not been any opening duels, but has a lot of kills, and it's a close series, this goes to show that he's probably trading his teammates very effectively in that case. And DDman, who's had a couple of struggles individually, hasn't died for nothing. Because you can die for nothing or die for a trade. It's a very big difference. Levy's looking to go with the run out. He's very keen for it. CAG waiting.
I think
Saka,
was watching
who's not been that opening duel.
I was going to say, could this be his first opening engagement? As we eclipse the midpoint of the round, pressure starting to mount. CAG looking for map control. The Denari setup being played once again, and on cue, it is the Denari to fall. Don't know if it will be confirmed.
I don't think he knows.
Also a tricky position to go for a res. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Cigar Lounge now being taken by CAG, by VARREL.
Wow. I think CAG just didn't want to risk going on the rappel and dying to a second player, so they say, you know what, we get the injury, that's 20 health left on Neo, so we take that. Saka goes down early. You say it, you curse it.
No.
Now in the opening dev situation, doesn't see the player or hear him. There's a kill though, flanked as well, shot down by Levy. Still, Dplus, favorite numbers.
Yeah, it must be the curse of the play-by-play. CAG falling.
I think so.
And now Chibisu remains 30 seconds. Time not the problem, but needs to find two. And there's Info Cigar, courtesy of the Valkyrie. BPC's up as well. And I think that Dplus Kia will have a good read. And they can sit in cocktail, hold the cross. Chibisu will need to try his best to break it, and he does. Muzi falls, but Falls himself will swing, and Dplus Kia will still map one in this best of three.
안녕하세요. 저는 레인보우 식시즈 프로게이머 하퍼고요. 에이펙 노스 지역에서 활동하고 있습니다. 제가 게임을 처음 시작하게 된 건 이제 가족의 영향이 제일 컸고요. 그 중에 특히 집에서 부모님 둘이서 이제 컴퓨터 2대를 가져다 놓고 같이 게임하는 걸 매우 좋아하셨고, 이제 집에도 플레이스테이션 2, 3, 1까지 다 있었어가지고 뭐 자연스럽게 그런 환경의 영향을 받은 것 같고요. 제가 제일 처음 했던 게임은 메탈 기어 솔리드 2였고 제가 제일 좋아했고, 뭐 컴퓨터도 있었어가지고 뭐 RTS, FPS, TPS 정말 여러 장르를 하면서 이제 FPS 할 때가 제일 즐거웠던 것 같습니다. 근데 저한테는 8살 아래 남동생이 있고, 남동생한테도 레인보우 식스를 추천을 해서 같이 해봤었는데 한 중학교인가 초등학교 6학년 때 생각보다 잘하고, 제가 게임 지식만 알려주고 뭐 에임은 저보다 반응 속도나 이런 건 좋더라고요. 피가 이어져 있는지 모르겠는데 그래가지고 생각보다 즐겁게 했었어요. 스트레스도 안 받고 좀 못해도 귀여우니까. 특히 저희 아빠가 클라우드9에서 제이가 왔다는 소식을 듣고 제가 어떻게 할지 고민하는 척 연락을 해봤는데, 오히려 부모님이 더 좋아하시면서 절대로 해라, 너 이거 안 하면 너 끝이다 하면서 무조건 하라고 등 떠밀어 주셨던 기억이 있습니다. 아직 국제전 우승은 없어가지고 막 그렇게 특별한 기억은 없는데, 그래도 막 국내 대회 우승하거나 해외 진출한다고 했을 때 막 부모님이 막 회사 사람들한테 자랑하거나, 그리고 막 제 프로필 사진을 메신저 프로필 사진으로 바꿔놓는다거나 막 그런 건 보여서 민망하기도 한데, 뭐 한편으로는 좀 뿌듯하기도 하고 나쁘지 않은 것 같아요. 본인한테 들은 얘기로는 운동선수 쪽으로 간다고 하고, e스포츠 커리어는 뭐 저랑 같이 게임했다 정도밖에 없는 것 같아요. 좀 복합적인 것 같은데, 그래서 저는 레인보우 식스를 플레이하기 전까지는 다른 게임에서 경쟁심이라는 걸 딱히 느껴본 적이 없었는데 이제 이 게임을 시작하고 나고 이제 저보다 약하다고 생각하는 사람들한테 지거나 할 때부터 약간 막 가슴에서 좀 불이 나는 듯한 느낌이 들으면서 이게 뭔가 계속 열심히 하는 게 이제 꾸준히 반복되다 보니까 이렇게 된 것 같네요.
Four match points is what it took for Dplus here to take that one, and I think we were sitting there for a while, gents, thinking this is done, this is dusted. The storyline was, well, CAG are just not prepared on their own map, they haven't played enough, but by God, they made it way too close.
Yeah, they made it work. I think at the start, maybe they were sort of getting those cobwebs out. Obviously, practicing a map without playing in competitive is pretty different once you get to match day.
Yeah.
And that could have sort of explained how those first two rounds went on their attacks, and they seem to sort of start to figure it out and put the pressure back onto DW Kia, but obviously in the end, too strong.
Yeah, and it's a little bit of an unfortunate circumstance if you are a CAG fan, but regardless, I think Dplus probably deserved that, Jake.
Oh, absolutely. I think CAG took a risk. Risk didn't quite pay off. It's interesting, you know, when we get to the best of threes, you end up in kind of two situations. Either you go to maps in which one of the teams is usually really good on, or you go to a map where both teams are not that great on it, and they both played a game of chicken. And we ended up playing a game of cafe where things didn't quite work out for CAG. It was a bit of a game of runs. You know, Dplus started well by winning the first two rounds, even though opening picks went the way for 5 rounds straight to CAG, and then CAG bounced back. Then Dplus took over. When they won the 4 straight towards the middle portion of the map, you know, closed out the first half with attacking round, then 3 straight on the defense. I think we were sitting here probably thinking, yeah, this one's probably done. Dplus will run away with it. And CAG then suddenly out of nowhere go and win 3 straight, and we go OT. And when it did go to OT, Vinny, I'm not going to lie, I expected a little bit more from CAG, but that was all they had left in the tank.
Yeah, it looked like that was sort of one-dimensional once it got to OT, which is pretty common when you haven't played a map too much in competitive in a competitive setting. Obviously, you start to try to fall back on with maps that you've got more experience on. You start to fall back onto your fundamentals and how you can bring that when the nerves get really high, and when you don't have that much experience, it becomes sort of jarring when you get to that sort of nervy spot.
Speaking about jarring, not gonna lie, Chibisu. Second half.
We put the mods on him at half time, didn't we? I think he had 8 kills at the half and then
Yeah.
got 1 after that. All the way
And that was in
to
the
OT.
last round.
In the last round, yeah. And it was, what, 1v3 or 1v4?
Yeah,
So
something
he just got
outrageous.
1 and then died anyway. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just, it's interesting though. I will say, if you want to find the positive, I said at half time, if you deal with Chibisu, you deal with CAG.
Sure.
That was largely somewhat true until rounds 10 to 12. When Chibisu was not clearly having a very good game, but CAG, they had Zaka really step up. He finished with 15. Sharif had a really good performance as well. When I was saying, you deal with Chibisu, you deal with CAG, that's not to say that it's a one-man show. Clearly, we know CAG is not to that
It's
level.
not how that
It's
works.
more about how good Chibisu's been this stage.
Yeah.
He had a stinker. He hit for his standards. He has still put up 9 kills and only had 11 deaths.
Still does the job.
But compared to where he's been at his performance throughout the group stage, even then also to start playoffs,
Yeah.
well and truly down. We're talking about a guy averaging over 130 EPS, has a 94 EPS game. That's a big drop.
Yeah, it is. But the good thing is,
And they
for
still
us,
got the OT.
well, this is the part that I'm always curious about with most of these teams in Asia is like we don't have, yes, there are star players, but the problem is when you, I guess, diminish the star player, generally there are 1 or 2 players on each given team in most regions that do have that ability to take it to the next level. You mentioned Zucker, but I think that moving over to Nighthaven Labs, we do get a little bit worried now for CAG, because when you start to look at the context of this, Dplus, they take their map picks. So that's a big problem straight off the bat for CAG. And when we're moving across to labs, there's plenty of information here for us to dissect a little, Vinny. And there is, I guess, a light at the end of the tunnel. Like, it's not like CAG are going to go in unexpected on this map, but still, it is going against Dplus that are kind of feeling pretty confident right now.
Yeah. Before that first map, I said both of these teams very momentum based. We saw that through the first map, as even then there was a lot of sort of 3 rounds in a row and then 3 rounds in a row to the other team.
Yeah.
And I think DWK is going to really push this through on Nighthaven Labs, and I think they're going to take it 2-0. I said it before the first map, and I'm going to stick to it.
Yeah, really? You're going to stick to your guns there? Yeah. I think it's fair enough. Jake, moving across now, once we start to look at a team like CAG moving to a map like Nighthaven Labs, the last time these two teams played, it was a CAG win. Sorry, not a CAG win. Sorry, apologies. It was a
win
D+
against
win.
CAG. Yes.
Thank you.
Which, look, and this is when we were having that conversation in regards to the map preference rank. And again, second last for D+. That's pretty much entirely on the basis that they do ban a lot. But it also does get banned against them a lot. And their record is 2-1, which is the exact same as CAG. So I have to largely agree with Vinny overall. I would put the favoritism tag now D+ to close it out. But that's, for me personally, just on the basis they already beat them. Even if it was back in April for kickoff, it's still a win. 8-6, it's still a win. And D+ right now, their form is clearly on the up. And for CAG, from a flawless group stage to dropping a map in the first upper bracket round, now dropping another map here, so that trending in the worse direction.
Yeah. If we actually look at one conversation that we brought up previously going into this map, and then it was compounded by the conversation of what actually happened with the bans, you look at both of these two teams. Now, they ban very similar operators when we get to Nighthaven Labs. It's Bandit, you've got your Clash in there, and you've got your Kaid. Those are the top 3 bans for both teams. So now, if we're starting to look at this in the context of this series, I don't think you can really afford to take one out to drop Wamai in. I don't know, Vinny.
Yeah, and as you said, we said it before the match, these teams probably haven't played with the Wamai ban all that much in the past, so they're expecting other operators to be banned. So now that they're sort of being forced into Wamai, which for the most part could be maybe an overreaction from a lot of these teams, because in sort of the opposite way, a lot of these teams probably haven't played too much Wamai before the patch.
So don't need the Bandit.
Bandit ban or Bandit play?
You don't probably need to ban the Bandit. So if you really wanted to, I would say that's one of the 3 that you listed. I think the Kaid will offer more value overall. It's the reason why it's the most banned defensive operator. But you think about placing Shockwire batteries in IT, you can just go storage and deal with it that way. So I think we'll see if it does continue, but clearly the my bans are starting to really rack up. The longer we continue to go on since that patch, it's just more and more common that teams are pretty figuring out there's a lot that he brings to the table, and I think he's obviously going to be very strong on a map like Labs, so I expect him to continue to get banned.
I wonder if we'll see maybe the Clash get avoided as a ban. I don't think you can afford to. On a map like this, I actually don't think you can afford to miss out on a Clash. Hey?
Why is that?
Because of how dominantly it's played on top floor. I think that if you remove the Clash from top floor... I know ball, okay? I may be a host, but I know enough ball to discuss this topic. If you remove the Clash from your top floor hold, you are not going to enjoy what happens to you when those attacks start to converge around the key choke points.
It's not that simple though, Vinny, right? With the Clash, yes, on that top floor, you still got to be in the right position.
You do.
And where? Hang on. Where is that right position? As you ask, I'm going to look at Pengu. I'm going to wait to see
the correct answer.
Where's the right position? Top floor.
Where the attackers are.
I don't know if I can. I don't think I can disregard that. Pengu, is that a head nod or a shake?
I didn't even listen to what
Okay,
you were
fantastic.
saying.
No, I wouldn't listen to him either if I was being honest with you. So
I was waiting for the throw.
Yeah, no, there's no throw yet, mate. We're still
we're not throwing yet.
We're still waffling, but
I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, unfortunately, so we're just having some tech issues with the server. So we get to keep running this back. Pengu, I'll leave you to your own devices, mate. But sorry, what were you going to say that was so prudent? You've forgotten, haven't you?
Was I going to say something?
Oh, was it you, Vinny? No, I cut one of you off to go back in on you.
I think we completed the segment. I think it's time for you to come up with a new one.
But, yeah.
Win conditions.
Oh, no. That's the first time I've heard you say that all stage long.
Oh, well, that's
it's a good one, though, because what really are the win conditions coming into Nighthaven Labs for Dplus Kia? I think they're coming into this now. Firstly, free of any pressure. You win that first map. You steal CAG's pick. You go to your map pick, which I think Dplus... it's probably that Brazilian culture, but they're very structured. They put a lot of the work in, and I think Nighthaven Labs is a good map for that too. So for them, in terms of win condition, it's probably just play your game, keep the game on your terms, and the game probably works out. You've already beaten them previously in the past. You probably don't need to overcomplicate it. Labs doesn't need to be overcomplicated. So for CAG, then what do they then need to do to try and get the game on their terms, Vinny?
Yeah, it's hard to say, and something we spoke about before that first map as well that we sort of saw through there was sort of the importance of the timeout from Sparky, because they once again were trending towards losing all of those attacking rounds until the timeout was called, and they were able to bring back two or three in a row. So you'd hope that by now they're starting to understand where they need to adapt within the game itself before he has to intervene.
Yeah.
It's such a big problem for them. Just in the basis that you can't always rely on your coach to be doing that because it becomes too late.
Well, that's interesting that you bring that up, because I actually want to touch on this, because you wouldn't have been around for the group stage, but we had many interviews with Sparky throughout the group stage, and he was completely hands-off for group stage. I don't know if you were aware of that, but it goes into your point, which is they've actually had the entire group stage where Sparky was hands-off, didn't really have a say during the matches, etc. So those kind of timeout moments they didn't really have, and he's been more hands-on for finals.
Lots more.
I mean, that's probably a good way to prep now, where they are used to not having him in the corner and they can manage themselves.
They just need to show it now.
Then they're going to go and show it.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that concerns me a little is, yes, they need to show it, but what was the interview that we had last week with Sparky? They're not listening to what we're talking about going into games. I have to then call a tactical timeout to reinforce that. And then we're bringing it back to Cafe that's just being played.
Well, then this is what I posed to you, Vinny. Is it a bad thing in the sense they've now had an entire group stage where they're not used to listening to him? He then comes in, and now suddenly they go from doing their own thing to having to actually follow kind of a bit more of what the coach is trying to get them to do.
Yeah, again, it's tough to say because it depends on how well they've prepped now for the best of threes versus the best of ones. Because when you go into the best of ones, you're only prepping for one map. You only have to really focus on what you have to do for sort of the next 45 minutes to an hour. Whereas when we're walking into a best of three, they've now prepped at least 3 maps, probably more, because they weren't completely sure what Dplus
were going to 100% sure what the video is going to be.
Obviously, they let Nighthaven through, so they should be relatively confident they can take him to this map as well.
And may have expected it as they did play it last time.
Yeah, exactly right. And if they'd gone back and looked over sort of that first match where they made their mistakes and can sort of fix those, and hopefully not have to wait for Sparky to intervene and talk about the prep that they went through, then you know, this could be a much closer game than we're giving you credit for.
I do find it very interesting, the conversation where DD Man joining the roster, obviously removing himself as coach, joining the roster, having that kind of presence in the server. One thing that we noticed, I think I'd say maybe early this year, was how much of an impact he actually had in the server. It felt as though, and this was confirmed by some of the players as well, it felt like it took the weight of decision making completely off the players' shoulders and allowed them to shine a little more. And I think one player that started to shine quite well is actually Zaka. I think that, you know, he has been allowed to take the weight off of his own shoulders in that respect. What's wrong? Oh,
Every time,
I
man.
can just hear Michael from the background screaming. But I think that there is that element that DD brings to the server, but this is always the number one conversation when we bring this up, which is when you take a coach like DD, man, and you remove him from his duties and put him into the server, when he starts to underperform, how do we then start to see that shape the team? And, you know, I think quite simply put, if we were just to look at Cafe in an incubation little just zone,
What are you talking about right now?
Well, the fact that, well, if you just shut up and listen to what I'm about to say, unprofessional. 5 kills, 9 deaths. No one comes close to that.
Okay.
DD Man struggling in the server right now. See how what we do when we're talking on a desk, we go from the top and you start to bottleneck. So you go wide, you go really, really wide, and then you start to bring it back, just like we're going back into the game.
We'll incubate this one away from you.
What a pivot.
That was a word I never thought I would heard. I never thought I would hear on an esports desk, but either way, that's what the APL is for. The unusual and the unexpected. And to be honest, I didn't really expect CAG to drop map 1, and they now find themselves in a pretty precarious position here on Labs as the bans play out.
Oh, man. I was going to point out, I don't want to hear any slander from Jake in the future, because I said yesterday that the better team will win when he's seeing stuff that Dplus, they're a team that puts in the work, and Labs requires work. And saying, keeping the game on your side and you'll be good. Because, what is that, Mo? Bro is LARPing. And I'm only calling out Jake because he called out me, okay? Him and I might make a great duo because we'll just say stuff that doesn't make sense anymore. We'll be incoherent as a duo. Oh, great disc, guys. Great job there.
Well, they had to fill. It was rough. I don't know what the delay was for, but
That's what I'm saying. They did a great job.
Fortunately, we're in.
Yeah,
The
it was a bit of
Monty and the Grim
attack.
Band out. Kaid and Bandit, so a double down from Dplus.
5 seconds remaining.
That was the conversation on desk, right? Will the bandit ban actually be like necessary, if you will? And this is a point that I've been talking with James a lot about when I've been casting with him, is the whole, you can ban the bandit and just like play the Thatcher against the Kaid. You can leave them both open, play the Maverick. You can also ban the Tuberau, because that obviously empowers all sorts of wall denial. You can even do like Tuberau mirror window tricking, etc. for thermite breach, etc. I'm very curious when we're gonna see teams lean more into operators like the Maverick and leave Kaid Bandit open, because I think that's gonna be the biggest meta shift from the operator bans that we could see. Wamai will be in that mix now, of course. There's certain maps that we're gonna be discussing Wamai or the wall deny duos on maps like Lair, where both things are very important. And I think when the first few teams in Tier 1 competition starts to shift those operator bans around, everyone else will follow suit. The question is when and who will start that trend.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I think EWC is probably going to define the meta a little bit more going forward over the course of the rest of the year. It's a bit of limit testing at the moment for especially the APL teams, which are going to actually have a little more exposure, I think, based on the fixturing to the patch. So
True, actually, yeah.
we'll see how it develops. Ooh, Sharif.
That's a swing and a half.
I mean,
okay.
that's brave.
Onto glass as well.
Yeah, contesting IT breach
Yep.
in that fashion. Nice shot though, and losing the glass and of course a player for the trade is very costly for Dplus Kia on this attack.
It's just gonna be like Cafe, game of disruption there, early swing out, and CG they get rewarded. They're also playing the pulse again, just like on Cafe for the intel gathering. Tanks the air jab, no big deal. They'll now know that Blitz is actually inside the building, where a teammate behind him. The C4 could be lethal here if you can find the hit for it. It's DD-Man instead actually getting it done. Playing upstairs next to Aniton. So now it's a 3v5.
Oh, well, that was
3v2.
unfortunate. Muzi finds at least one for Dplus Kia in this opening round, but outside of that, it has been a bit of a no-show from Dplus Kia. Unfortunately, off the back of hyper-aggression, they lost Falls, and then it put them in a pretty compromised position for the remainder of the round. 30 seconds remains, and
What a crossfire.
that's a 3-man crossfire through Con. Oh, Niz actually breaks it. Bit delayed on the trade, but eventually then does fall. Was low on HP. Muzi will continue his final stand over towards Con. But the smokes are stalling him out. Chances of winning the round essentially 0. A late rotation, electrical, and straight into a keeper barrier. A strong start for CAG as Muzi protects his stats.
Nice. Gotta keep the scoreboard alive there, very important. Starts out with a fast early pick from CAG, a C4, and just again, good crossfires. They're playing top floor exactly as you normally would, leveraging the few power spots that you have. A little bit surprised that Dplus didn't opt to go for any sort of vertical play, but if you cast your mind back to the opening diff, I think that shows the story. They had the glass. It's gonna be a glass blitz push. Could probably be glass walking in late IT with the smoke grenades, can make that solo backstab, no one can really contest it. With the primary push coming that we saw from connector, from jungle, and then with the blitz. When you lose one of your most important util operators early on, it does force the attack into a very awkward position where you're gonna be missing an angle in the round. On that top floor, often we see kind of a triple spearhead. You're gonna attack from garage rafters, IT, and then Aqua or connector. You can't just go with 5 attackers in one spot because you have one single doorway or one single breach to work with. It's a lot more about fanning out. Now it's basement though, much more about the roaming game, seeing if CG by VARREL can stall out for as much time as necessary. Very similar to a bank basement roam. You start on top floor or the primary floor, you fall back step by step, have some Goya counters, have the toxic babes, and force attackers to feel that pressure off the clock.
CAG will be eager to try and build a bit of momentum in the half here and put pressure and see if they can form cracks in Dplus Kia, who sometimes at times are a little bit susceptible to said pressure. Kitchen side here, a little bit of presence early, reinforcements established and an extension from the CAG, an early tease from the blitz of Nears, but elects not to commit for now. That operator and that flash util could be pretty critical for some of the later clears, especially Exo's side in particular. Pushing down that staircase can be quite strong, and direct breach as well could also be an option. Now hard breached successfully by Dplus.
Plenty of options. Of course, Demo's getting in the mix. The map has a lot of usage for this operator, a lot of soft floor, a lot of roam clear to be had, especially on the basement and tertiary bomb sites. But scary here. It's going to be Annie with the DMR playing on the staircase of vending. Looking to hold on, as I said, for as long as possible. Don't fall back unless absolutely necessary. They have Shurib still on top floor for a backstab. They got the gas pipe still, actually, enabling Aniton's position because he knows now that Nearest is not a threat to him on that Shield of Blitz. That's the benefit of the Siege X patch. There are a couple of different shield counters.
Nears is patient, will have to wait out that gas pipe. Ooh, had the presence of mind to try and cut off from the vert, but it was a narrow window and unable to capitalize.
This is scary. Hear each other. Maybe not actually, but Saka knows. He's in the most pivotal spot on this round. He locks down the vert on the bomb site for the default plant location, and he's kind of cutting the map in the middle actually. Meaning that the roam clears can't get to the bomb site, but falls. Freebie onto the side breach actually, shuts down one, but there's Annie who's also walked into garage to kill Saka. So CAG own the area above the bombs, but Dplus, they want the bomb side.
30 on the clock. It's advantage CAG once again. Double stack Exo side for Dplus Kia, who have a read, have an inkling, have a yellow ping. Long angle for Aniton with that DMR, forced to reload. Chibisu with the cross, and Zaka still up above in lounge. It's a poor position for Dplus Kia to find themselves in, and it is indeed Zaka from above. Influential in that round. Back to back for CAG by VARREL.
Much better start than Cafe. That's for damn sure. I'm curious though from Dplus how many different strategies they have in mind right now. They've shown us the glass in round number 1, the blitz demos round number 2. Neither has really stuck the landing, and they were quite slow at the roam clear on that basement attack. They only started working the staircase with like 45 seconds left. They never cleared seconds out of storage. They never had the verticality. It's felt a little bit too linear for my liking, especially for Dplus's standards. They're a team that loves to do the fanning out, attacking from different angles, getting the vert, having the util, going for plants, going for pushes. I've not seen that from them so far here on Nighthaven. And CAG, they're staying true to their cafe game style. Try and lash out, get an early pick, and disrupt the attacks from getting to that site with all 5 players alive on the server. And that's why they're playing these operators that have a lot of passive utility, right? Your Goyo, your Castle, your Mute, your Thorn. These are all operators that can just do stuff in prep phase, and now you can be anywhere in the map. Then you have Aniton, who often plays the information gatherer, and it can be a clash on defense or a pulse, and it can be a shield on the attack. He's actively needing to rotate around, making good decisions with his gadget to help his teammates. But everyone else, in particular Shirip, right? They just allowed that freedom to go for plays of instinct and feeling in the server.
An early probe from midi warehouse entrance. A strong position for the Solid Snake to posture early, maybe find information or even a lack thereof, could identify a clear route towards site and the ability to pressure a little more directly. IT breach was opened up above in the meantime, and Aniton will identify that with potential info that can be relayed to Sharip. The RAM available here from Dplus Kia, so establishing vert courtesy of the breach now being opened. And as we can see there, 3 players currently situated on the roof, posturing for the clear on this top floor. CAG, though, seemingly pretty eager to hold on to said control. It's I was going to say 3-1 split. That wouldn't have made too much sense. It's a 2-3 split now. Make it just 1 above. Sharip for the PL Blue stairs. And so CAG actually not committing to holding up above. Oh, midi gets
gap
called
shot
out
down
by
immediately.
Zaka.
Okay.
Well, he thought it was a gap, but it definitely wasn't.
All about timing. Had he been in there 1 second earlier or later, perhaps it would have been, but not to be. And now Dplus, they are doing the classic style of attacking from different angles at once, but they're doing so a player down. And no real pushing power by the side, no shield. Nears goes down as well as Thermite. That doesn't mean the case is done for though. Fall still has it from bottom garage, looking to go for a trade play, pops the Goyo canister. That's gonna stall that door for 20 seconds though, which means CAG know exactly where that push is coming from. It's gonna be that window, and False knows you can't jump on in, gonna be stock bit animation. And while Levy is on top floor, he has no impact with the verticality, and now they're actually gonna give it up and just go for a 3-man hit on the bomb side.
Yeah, they've been able to group up. That may allow them to trade their way into the objective, but the hope is short-lived. Falls will need to close out with 4, finds the first, but 3 to follow. 30 seconds on the clock and full control above and below. Aniton feeding information on the pulse heartbeat sensor. Falls though with a read as Sharip did forfeit up above. Bit of cat and mouse as he looks to run away and then swings at the perfect moment.
Oh my god.
A strong start for CAG, now 3-0 up.
So this is the exciting point for me here on Nighthaven, because CAG, they have not shown any true Brow, Mira, sort of wall deny operators that can substitute the Bandit Kaid ban. They also have shown us the Clash, which we know they can play very effectively. Dplus have to go into this blind and choosing what do we not want to deal with, right? Asami's played every bomb site. The Mirror can be a wall denier. The Clash is a problem, and they can only get rid of one of them. So I'm very curious to see what they deem is problematic. They're gonna go with the Mira, which is gonna be about the wall. So they're tripling down here. The Bandit and the Kaid, they are wall denying operators, and in this instance, Mira acts the same way. So Dplus, they want to guarantee that stepped round, which is gonna be breaching the external walls on all 3 bomb sites. That can be achieved in a clean fashion. The thing that worries me about this is that they have never once struggled with getting those walls open, mostly because CG, they haven't tried to stop them from doing so, but they've been struggling everywhere else. So the walls will continue the way they were before. They'll get the breaches done. So what can Dplus do now to fix the second and the third step? That is the setup into the execute. That's what Hell is talking about right now. Guys, we know the walls are easy, but you gotta get in, get a bit of map control. You either gotta get the verticality, or you gotta get a gap find. We can't play solo, we can't jump in individually, and just think that there's gonna be a gap without knowing for sure. Right? If we give CAG any opening kills, they'll take the whole round. So I think that's going to be the gameplay here, is playing a lot more closer together and not taking those high-risk plays that can be a medium reward. Play a bit safer, feel a bit more calculated.
Yeah, it was Midi who took that risk in the 3rd round, caught a poor timing, rest of the team then trying to play off that kind of any sort of pressure or chaos that was generated, and CAG largely held firm above and had the pulse down below. They were more than happy for the round to have played out in that fashion, looking very comfortable on that storage objective. So 3 in a row. The rotation resets. We return to command server. Appeared in the 1st round, of course. Opening kill at minute 42, and 3 players were still up. And in fact, that's a trend that has been reflected in every round so far. 3 remaining members for CAG, suggesting that this has been a pretty dominant start from them.
Now Solid Snake back on the other side. This is about the information game. I was curious about maybe a Capital. Thing is, when you're up 3-0, it's kind of awkward because you haven't struggled against anything. Like, it's not just a 3-0, it's a very convincing 3-0 by CAG. So it's not like, oh my god, the glass has been so dominant, we gotta get rid of it. It's like, no, they haven't had any issues whatsoever. And it does actually make the operator band selection maybe a little bit harder, because you have to assume what they're gonna start being good at, or just whatever you don't want to deal with. So let's say was played a fair bit on Cafe.
Preemptive bet as to what could foil you for the remainder of the half, which can be sometimes a little bit tricky, but I think I'd still probably prefer to be 3-0 up. I think that would probably still be a little
I'll
bit
take
better.
The 3-0.
I wouldn't be complaining
we'll
too much.
definitely take it. And it's also the beauty of like attack versus defense, right? Because attackers, they are reacting constantly to what the defenders are doing. When the defense is setting up from the prep phase and they can't change in the operators, Dplus say, we don't want to deal with the wall denial, so we're gonna just triple down that entirely. We know we can get past it, and CAG will now just have to not do that, and then Dplus can react to everything else. In this case, it's gonna be utility, right? Asami Wamai, locking things down. C4 can toss one out, gets not shot midair, but it explodes behind Nears. Nobody takes any damage whatsoever. Kind of crazy that TK can swing the ball like that. Not get contested, but a one-tap cleanly takes away Anderson from the middle of the bomb site. And track goes out shortly after. So Dplus off the tag timeout, off that 3rd operator ban. This is their best round yet.
Keep us strikes true. Barrier deployed.
Oh, they still play with a little bit of risk this round, Dplus Kia, but the bet pays off.
Oh man.
Sharif, though, will return it to a 4 versus 4. And with the Azami in play, there's going to be some good anchor opportunities here for the defense. And Zaka from Pillar on full display will show the strength of this defensive hold. Levy gets caught warehouse, and the round fizzles out for Dplus Kia. Now 4 straight for CAG.
What are these attacking rounds, though, from Dplus? Had you blurred out the team names and player names, I would think that this was going to be a group stage BO1 game against a lower seeded team. Like, this is not the performance, the playstyle, the strategy, the consistency of Dplus Kia. Even comparing them from Nighthaven Labs to pre-jump of Cafe, night and day difference. There is no cohesion. They start swinging, okay, they get a nice one tap, that's good. Then they keep swinging, 2 people die, and guess what? After they lose 2 people, then they breach the catwalk wall. So they're just skipping steps essentially. And I just said if I'm held during that tactical timeout, the supporting staff of Dplus Kia, I'm saying play safer, right? Get the opening pick, sure. Now we gotta hold our angles, get the drone, breach the wall. After you breach the wall, now you utilize the cabin tower, you send the Deimos downstairs to track somebody, get a backstep into Aqua, work the angles together. Instead, it feels like not ego, but every individual player from Dplus wants to be the hero, right? You want to be the main character, you want to get the kill, you want to be the one to save the round. You don't need to on Nighthaven Labs. It's a very kind of stable step 1, step 2, step 3. It's been super figured out already. It's almost like a simpler clubhouse, if you will. You need everyone to do their role together, and then you can win around an attack. Especially against CAG, who's very strategically sound. You can't expect to just beat them in gun skill when they're playing in strong positions. That's underestimating your opponent.
Well, we'll see if Dplus Kia can play some selfless siege to conclude this round and give themselves a shot heading into the role swap. Really did not expect CAG to look quite so strong on the selection of Dplus, and whilst the roles themselves right now with CAG and defense may be skewing that at least a little bit, I don't think it's really telling the whole story as to how well they're playing right now, and for Dplus Kia, some of the struggles that they are certainly encountering here on attack. Eyes on Aniton at the moment over towards Kitchen. Oh, this is a risky position.
Oh, he's cooked.
Oh, gets caught, but
he
won that fight onto the Blackbeard. You are kidding me.
Oh, God.
Well, when it's not your map, it's not your map, and
so
this
far.
may well not be the map of Dplus Kia.
It's not after that. I was thinking that the rotate was on the wrong side for any to have any chance of survival. The hatch was open. You have Deimos Striker. Dog could be like, it's a BB, like you said in the window, that there's no way you should be winning that. And they doubled down. A kill happened, the floor right above Annie as well, onto Levi, who's the vert operator. So it's again Dplus making individual plays, off pace, not having the right gadgets in the right locations, targeting the right players. And now, CAG, they play disciplined. They fall back, everyone in the basement. Playing by the staircases, using the Valkyrie cams, the pulse scanners, C4s locked and ready, and playing crossfires. No one is overexposed to die solo, and all 3 attackers again in a linear attack from Dplus, all in the same area.
A snowball attempt again from Dplus Kia. It peters out pretty quickly. CAG are looking so formidable defensively at the moment, and even when put in tricky positions as they were in this round, their raw mechanical skill is clutching up. Midi in a 1v3. Little time, little hope. Pinched and pressured and ultimately taken down. A shake of the head from DD Man, wondering what the hell is going on right now.
That is a struggle and a half, I gotta say. Now, I did say earlier that I don't think Dplus, they're a team that would tend to tilt and have a struggle. I think from the interviews we had with Hell, with Falls, even with Mitty one time, they seem very mentally sound. But the way that this game is going, there has to be some frustration. And I think if you're an IGL right now, which Mitty and Falls, they tend to share that role, sometimes Nearcy also tunes in on the shields and whatnot, it's hard not to blame the individual players that's just not listening. And I'm not saying that it's like, oh, I'm saying you go here, you do this job. It's like, they just not listen to the overall game plan of when you peak and why you peak and how you take these fights. Because if you're the strat caller, you're saying, hey, pick these operators, we're going to go for this kind of attack. Right? I need the Blackbeard to be the roam clear or to be the planned up, whatever role that you give him. Then Blackbeard dies outside the building, holding right click and losing what looked like a complete free kill. And it's like, okay, great. Now strategically, we can't use the Blackbeard. We can't plan. We can't win the round. Like, what the hell, guys? 5 rounds straight, by the way. It's been the exact same story. They tried the Glass, the Deimos. They tried the Blackbeard. Now they're playing Nuke, which feels like an act of desperation because what exactly they're going to be doing in this round? You're going to be hiding from the default cams. There is no Valkyrie this time. Thankfully, there's no pulls either. I'm not sure what the game plan is.
Well, the desk has just walked in preparation for halftime, and some shell-shocked faces, to say the least, running what the bleep is going on in this first half.
They got a kill.
Well, they have, but they've had 2 opening kills before this and have failed to convert. And CAG on the player cams are laughing and having a giggle. They don't mind one bit. They don't care. They're happy with 5.5, and they'll continue to fight here in the 6th to see if they can still complete the flawless set. It is kitchen, mind you. And so my expectations are so low on this side. I really still fail to understand why we ever see this selected.
It's a bomb site where I think if the clash is being brought out, it has like a little bit of playability because you can play in the hallways and avoid the verticality, and that's why Annie is on the clash. They got a shield deployable, they'll probably shield the ADS rather as well, bottom main stairs, or lobby stairs. But Dplus with the opening pick and with the Capital and the Nomad air jab, like they have all the right tools. It once again comes down to execution. Can they figure out the position here from Chibisu and Anitin? Can they get this area of map control? Because that would be vital to go for bomb site execute. You can't really take the bomb site without taking that staircase as well.
Yeah, they have the util. It's all about dumping it correctly and getting control of lobby, ideally dealing with Anitin. Levy finds his second in the round. The Warden falls. CAG finds their first in the round, courtesy of the 90 swing from Sharif. Anitin still close by in lobby. 60 seconds. Levy falls. Dangerous territory now for Dplus Kia. Can Anitin
could back out with a shield.
Find a kill or two? He's making a lot of noise. Dplus Kia know that he is close. He whips the shield out late.
Back it out.
Places it down. Gets smacked.
What?
Surely dies and will.
Why? His teammate backed off the hallway. Like, you can take the shield and just simply walk backwards and live to fight another day, or keep the gun the entire time. Either way, a miscalculation there from Anitin individually. That can affect the entire round. Now, there's no more capital fire, but there are these flashbangs used vertically. They just gotta get in, hold F, and cover the crosses.
Will Sharif be able to deny? He will. The swing.
Hello?
Not covered effectively by this attack of Dplus Kia. And I think it's fair to say that a 6-0 scoreline is deserved. CAG playing well, and Dplus Kia have capitulated. Time will expire. CAG 6-0 up in the half. I don't quite know what the desk are going to talk about because that was pretty insane.
We could probably keep this short if we wanted to. CAG good, Dplus not so. Unfortunately, just there was not a single round, barring maybe that last round, where I had hope for Dplus Kia. Watching it from the backlines just looked, I mean, just pure dominance.
Yeah, it's hard to say where it was all falling apart. I think probably the most telling factor, the opening kill count was equal. It was 3 and 3. I think the only difference was that Dplus Kias were coming quite late into the round. So I think something that that Jake said at the start for Dplus was that they weren't under so much pressure because they won that first map. They could sort of wait for CAG to make the mistakes, but it kind of came in the opposite way.
Yep.
Where CAG were waiting and playing their defense quite passively and waiting for Dplus to make the mistakes.
I mean, it's just disappointing with Dplus, but I will say, it's interesting. We were talking outside about the game, and I think it was maybe 2 or 3 rounds in. You're like, oh, just chill. It's defense labs. It can happen, and I agree with that wholeheartedly. And then as it just kept on going and going, it was like, okay, well, this is quite serious now. This is really not looking good at all for Dplus. It's crazy that they picked this map. Like, this is one of those series where, in hindsight, you look at it and be like, well, why would CAG pick a map that is a permaban? And Dplus have picked a map that they've just got absolutely 6-0'd on. Now, of course, they've beaten them 8-6. How is this happening?
How is it happening?
I don't genuinely have an... Like, none of the rounds have also even been close.
No,
like,
no, it's not even... It's not.
Like, you look at the survivability of all the round wins for CAG, outside of that last one, Kitchen Cafeteria, which for all intents and purposes, that's another one Dplus should be winning. That's a site that usually has a 100% success rate.
Yeah.
3 alive, 3, 4 alive, 3. Didn't get a single plant down, not a single clutch, not a single multi-kill. The only thing they got outside of that last round was 2 opening picks, falls and nears, rounds 2 and 4. That was it. You look at storage control. That's the tertiary site. That's the site you probably want to be winning. And that too wasn't really close. Minute and a half, opening kill goes the way of Zaka. The round falls apart. You end up in a situation for Dplus where on their attack, they just looked limp. They just didn't have options, and it's a map that's now just going to be forfeited. Lair seems obviously as if it's going to be required. It's not impossible, Vinny, that a 6-0 comeback can't be done, but it is so incredibly rare. I still actually it's so rare. I still remember the first one I ever cast. Was 7th Heaven on Oregon back in APAC South
I do
days.
remember that very long.
was
Against Knights.
Yes, and it was the first one, and it's the only one I remember. I'm sure I've done at least one or two.
I think you've done one where they were like 6-1 down.
Six ones are 6-1s are very different. 6-0. I don't know. That one round.
That one round just changes the
makes up a
perspective.
big difference. And unfortunately, we end up in the second half now, where it's very difficult for us to overly analyze even the bans, etc. This one's done, Vinny.
Yeah, I think that last round for them was really important, and we saw they made a pretty fatal mistake. I mean, there was only really one place that plant could get denied from, and they weren't covering it. So you could see sort of where their mindset is at the moment. They're making mistakes. But one thing that you said was DD Man needed to step up, and he's top fragging. So maybe that's the last piece of the
See,
puzzle.
I tell you what, this is why you don't ever listen to Jake Xenox for Diddy when he starts asking questions. What are you talking about?
Well, he's
You
not
make
top
no
fragging.
sense.
He's second fragging.
Yeah, but he's not playing bad, is he?
No, he's not. He's
Yeah,
playing good.
he's bringing it
not been-
back.
Who said he's been bad this stage?
No, he was terrible in Cafe.
Oh, on Cafe
Yeah, so
specifically.
that's what happens when you listen to the points that are being made and you follow the story.
I've seen worse performances than 5-9.
To be fair, I don't blame you for not listening to me because I don't think the audience does. So how about we go back to the casters?
Yeah, Rob, you're
Nice.
having a shared experience with myself because there's many times on cast where basically 15 seconds after I make a point, Jake will say basically the exact same thing, just in a different way. He's saying, I'm the king of it, Nick. I mean, I might do it once a week. You do it at least once a map. And the funny thing is, he can't answer back now because his mic's cut off.
That's it. I always say that like Jake, he's a bit of a wordsmith, right? He has a way of just kind of forging the words and sentences, and he sounds incredible.
Well, that's half the job,
Right,
Nick.
from the
Half
outside
the
looking in.
job of talent is to just sound smart. You don't even have to be saying anything intelligent. You just got to sound smart.
And that's why Jake is one of the best in the business. He sounds hella smart, even when he isn't. And I respect him for you. We all thought he was going to actually take some names in the 1v1s because he was praising himself so well and arguing why he's a good player. But when push came to shove, 4-1s, 4-2s, a 4-0 today against Levy, it hasn't been that victorious Jake that we all thought was going to happen.
But I don't know about us all thinking that
Never
was going to
can
happen.
handle it.
Maybe that might just be you, Nick. But
I believed in him. Come on now.
well, back into the action then. 2 minutes remain in the action phase, and CAG clearly at a strong advantage. Big cushion, 6-0 half, and it's set on the desk. These kind of comebacks are so incredibly rare that you tend to remember them because they're so infrequent. Dplus have really struggled in that first half.
And they've banned double heart breachers as well. I like the fact that they banned the Merrick, as we just discussed, how you can just play it and counter the Bandit 2 Brow, etc. When they saw the mirror ban by CAG, they thought, hey, either Bandit or Kite will be left open. And that's why the Maverick ban came out in response, probably, to deny those walls better. But now you're leaving up all the cheese operators, the Glass, the Blackbeard, even the Monty on the board here for any if you want to play it later on. So far, they're doing step 1, breaching, applying pressure like we see right now, and they get opening pickets off from Saka. Now, reinforcing controls Aqua stairs as well, looking to support Eniton in the backside push. Is that Spirit I spoke about, attacking from different angles at once.
Well, this one may be
And
over
GG.
in a flash. It's Muzi left all alone at the top of CC stairs. Well, respect
Nice.
to CAG. They didn't draw it out. A 7-0 victory on Nighthaven Labs. All 3 required. It's Lair after the break.
제가 처음 시즈를 만나게 된 건 중학교 1학년쯤에 유튜브에 올라온 2014 트레일러 그거를 딱 봤는데 이 게임이 되게 제 취향이랑 맞을 것 같은 거예요. 되게 전술적이고 막 CQB의 1인칭 FPS에 되게 매력적으로 느껴가지고 일단 베타 테스트도 신청해서 베타 테스트도 해봤고 그때 중학교에 같이 게임을 하는 그 파티가 있었는데 거기서 이제 6, 7명 모아가지고 이제 낮밤으로 계속 로테이션 돌려가면서 계속 했던 것 같아요. 그때는 이제 저도 경쟁심이 별로 없었고 해가지고 근데 일단 랭크를 계속 돌리긴 했어요. 근데 이제 그러면서 제가 이제 경쟁심에 끌어오르면서 이제 제가 약간 어떻게 보자면 저만 엇나간 그렇게 된 거죠. 이게 대회가 있던 건 2015, 16년에도 그 패드 대회가 있어가지고 알고는 있었는데 이제 관심을 가지기 시작하게 된 건 파리 메이저에 진출한 멘티스 FPS를 딱 봤을 때 한국에서도 프로가 가능하구나, 해외 나가서 활약하는 게 좀 멋지다를 느끼면서 이제 프로 플레이어도 염두에 두게 된 것 같아요. 그때부터. 그때 페이커도 알고 있고 막 유명한 e스포츠 선수들 되게 많이 알고 있었는데 이게 되게 남의 얘기 같고 그렇게 느껴졌는데 이게 제가 하는 게임에서 그 멘티스 FPS 같이 그런 팀이 나오니까 확실히 좀 와닿은 게 있는 것 같아요. 가장 인상 깊었던 팀은 예전에 퓨리아 그 5명이 제일 인상 깊었던 것 같아요. 제일 잘하는 팀이라고도 생각하고 한 2017년부터 이제 제가 랭크를 진짜 열심히 하던 시절인데 그때 상위권에 있다 보니까 막 지금 막 선수하고 있는 막 예전에 노라랭고나 멘티스 FPS 선수들을 실제로 매칭이 된 적이 있어가지고 그래서 계속 매칭이 되다 보니까 서로 조금씩 친해진 계기도 됐고 전 노라랭고의 워카라는 선수랑도 꽤 친해졌고 멘티스 FPS의 MB 테일러랑도 이제 좀씩 친분이 생기면서 이제 그쪽이랑 같이 게임도 하고 막 일본, 한국 왔다 갔다 하면서 계속 같이 했던 것 같아요. 그러다가 이제 2019년 말쯤에 이제 클라우드9에서 제이가 들어오게 돼서 시작된 것 같아요. 평소와 같이 그냥 집에서 일어나가지고 게임하려고 딱 켰는데 트위터 DM으로 와 있었던 거예요. 이게 뭐지 하면서 열어봤는데 오퍼에 관련되었던 거였고 되게 처음에는 잘 믿기지 않았는데 이게 대화를 하다 보니까 점점 실감하게 된 것 같아요. 이제 같이 게임하고 있던 가장 친한 친구한테 먼저 보여줬고 그 다음에 이제 진지하게 해야 될지 말아야 될지를 이제 부모님한테 상의를 하면서 이제 연락을 했었어요. 그 제안을 받고 나서 이제 일본 워킹홀리데이 가가지고 이제 막 일본어도 배우고 막 그냥 일반적인 직장을 얻어가지고 살 예정이었는데 근데 이게 아무리 생각해도 제 생각엔 별로 재미가 없을 것 같은 거예요. 그래가지고 이 오퍼가 왔을 때 그냥 이쪽이 무조건 더 재밌고 인생이 바뀌겠다 해가지고 바로 입단을 선택한 것 같아요. 순서대로 말하자면 일단 제일 첫 번째는 워카, 이제 같이 게임 해주면서 같이 실력도 같이 늘고 저한테 많이 알려주기도 하고 이제 특히 제가 일본어를 하게 된 계기가 그 친구들이랑 같이 게임을 하면서 이제 일본어를 배우게 된 거기 때문에 그게 지금 뭐 일하는 데도 쓰이고 있고 게임하면서 편하기도 하고 일본 갔을 때 편하기도 하고 되게 단순히 게임하면서 얻은 것 치고는 꽤 좋은 영향인 것 같아요 저한테. 그래서 워카한테 일단 고맙고 워카さん 2018年覚えてますか？あの時は日本語や指示のいろいろ教えてくれて本当にありがとうございました。
We're out of time. Let's put them in the ground. Fall back! Team 1. Report.
Alive and well stayed. We lost comms with the other team.
They have their orders. We need to go for next. Dokubi, be my eyes. Mute, cover her.
On it. Hostile. Sending a payload.
You're cornered, Nix. Surrender. I see one old man. One old man about to die.
I see your runner 7. 3 rows down.
Hack my phone.
Huh? What if
Do it now. trusted each other, and it paid off. Rendezvous for extraction, Team 1.
The APL talent are out of control. First they cut off APL man and then they stuff him in a box.
I forgot we put him in there.
Should we let him out?
Nah.
No, let's not worry
But
about
with your help, we can save him. Free APL man.
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 It's not happening. Like, you can try as hard as you may, but where he is right now, no one knows.
You know what's interesting as well? He got married this year.
He did, and he's had a kid. Can you believe that? Our little OCN man is all grown up.
You've locked him in the box.
No, he's not in there anymore.
Oh,
Can't tell you where.
you can't tell me where he is.
Top secret.
Oh,
Top secret.
I don't play around with the box. I'm not involved with the APL man.
No?
No.
No, unfortunately.
No.
That's exactly what someone who is pulling the strings would say. That's what I'm telling
like
you.
a little mastermind.
Correct, like a puppet master.
Right. Well, you know what else just happened? Dplus got absolutely smashed, 7-0.
Are they in the box? Vinny, do you want to check for me real quick?
I think they're in the bin. But I can speak from experience today, Vinny. You know, it's an awful feeling when you just get completely flawless like that. Nothing works for you, and you don't win a single round. It sucks.
Yeah, and I mean, my prediction went straight out the window within about 15 minutes. So after every round, I was thinking maybe they can pull this one back, and then the second half, but no, they just, as you said, they just were so flat that whole attacking half, and then obviously with one, they had no chances to make mistakes in the defense, and CAG just finished them off.
I feel like that one defensive round was them just waving white flags. They just opened the door and were like, we give up.
Wave it, baby. Wave it as much as you want. Look, I think it's fair to say that you got as many rounds as Dplus Kia got today, and I think that that's pretty exciting.
Well, I mean, they did win a map.
You just had to do it, didn't you? You couldn't just let me have fun.
You know, but maybe
Labyrinth
and I need to do a best of 3.
No.
Please don't make me watch any more of that.
That's 12-0. I'm telling you right now, there is no way you win a single round. I could give you 20 rounds, you're not getting a round.
I think if we were to play 100 rounds, I'd win at least one against Labyrinth.
You know what? Broken clock, right?
So 2.
Yeah, correct. You might get 2 in the entire 100.
You know who I'd actually love to play in a 1v1? The man next to me.
Don't even bother. Get yourself stuck in kids and just sit there and wait to die.
You only watched today, my good sir. You only watched today.
I watched you on with Turd as well.
Yeah.
Same map. You're on Oregon.
They're all on Oregon.
Yeah.
Oh, are they actually?
Yeah, they're all on Oregon.
Okay, well, that's probably your first problem. You don't know how to play Oregon, obviously. Let's change it up, maybe.
Well, my friend Jinxie only plays on Oregon for 1v1, so we can
I
do
don't
that
get
too.
to choose it. I thought we were meant to play in Calypso, by the way. What happened to that?
It might still be coming. Who knows? I actually don't know.
Have
I
you
don't
played
follow the
Calypso?
script.
Calypso.
Oh, yeah, he's got absolutely no clue. Let's move on to the discussion about Lair. Save all of us. Yeah, there we go. We got there at the end. I'm glad. Let's move on to the conversation about Lair, because on the back of Dplus's shellacking, I think is the nicest family-friendly way of putting it, it doesn't bode too favourably. I don't know exactly what went wrong. I think this was what we were trying to say, is like it was really hard to identify what was actually going wrong for Dplus. It was just like every gunfight that they turned a corner in, they were just getting absolutely smacked.
Yeah, and we know how strong CAG are on their defenses historically, so they're able to just show their dominance very early. And I mean, we keep saying they're a momentum-based team. They both are, and once they had that momentum, there was no stopping them from snowballing that lead. Anything new, mate?
Yeah.
See what happens
There's
without
not
a
much.
host?
There's not much though in a
people-
7-0 to talk about. What's interesting, I was looking at the
People
bands.
think it's easy to be a
They
host.
did actually ban the bandits. So
It's
we
not
didn't get
easy.
the Wamai.
This show would derail.
Looking at Lair now as well for the
It's
third and final
impossible.
map. The good news with Lair, so we go from 2 maps where I think both of them probably aren't the best at, to Lair actually where both of them are really good. Dplus have a 9-2 record this year alone. Last win was last week against Trope, which obviously had a very good stage, 7-3.
Yep.
And CAG have a 6-1 record. So we and neither of them ban it. They don't ban it. They like playing Lair. So we go in this series where we've started on 2 maps that neither of them really know what they're doing and don't like it. And now we get to finish on Lair where they both really like this map. This would be a good way to separate them.
It would be a good way to separate them, and hopefully we do separate them maybe before overtime. Let's try and get this one done in 12. The regulation. It's time for us to get underway with our upper bracket final. It's exciting because I'll be honest with you.
Giddy
both
up,
of these
Nick!
2 teams.
Giddy up!
Is it? I can't hear him giddying up. I won't lie to you. Oh, wait, no, I can see him. He is actually giddying up. He is ready for this one. Let's get underway with Lair. CAG by VARREL taking on Dplus Kia in the upper bracket final.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. A phenomenal breakdown of that 7-0 on Labs. Learned a lot
Free APL
from that
man.
one. And yeah, hashtag free APL man. Don't know where he's at. I feel like Jake's behind something, Nick. He seems a little bit dodgy.
He does. He always seems a bit dodgy to me. Maybe he is actually APL man, because think about it. I've never seen Jake and APL man in the same room together.
Neither have I.
When he was stuck in the chest, it was me, Rob James. Okay, when he was on the couch, it was me, Rob James. When he was high-fiving James, Jake was also not there.
You could be onto something here, Nick. I'm pretty sure that Jake in Another Life is a dodgy used car salesman. That's the kind of vibe I get from him.
I could see it. I really could. He'll sell you a car and be like, yeah, this baby is like brand new, drives like a dream, and it's like just the most broken piece of garbage ever. But he'll upsell it to you and you'll believe it because, again, he's a wordsmith. He does that, okay? He creates sentences out of thin air and they sound incredible.
Well, hopefully this game improves, otherwise he might have to jump over here and try and sell this matchup because it's been pretty low quality, or at least that second map was. Dominant from CAG, but Dplus Key not putting up too much of a fight. Hopefully more competitive here on the third of Lair. The bands are out, Nick. Bandit, Kaid, Grim, and Ying.
Okay, analyzing. Thinking about it a bit more. I've come to my conclusion. I'm actually not a very big fan of Bandit Kaid ban. I'm a hater. And it's always like, I haven't dealt with playing Pro League for 5.5 years now, but I feel like as a year one player and forward, I'm thankfully now I'm a free man, right? We didn't have operator bans back in the day. So when like Lion came out, you deal with it. When Bandit Trick in the round happened, you deal with it. And by dealing with it, you learn very effective counters. I genuinely do believe that you can get, in most matchups, not every, but in some matchups at least, a better result by leaving Bandit Kite open, banning the power-ups instead. In this case, like Chashanka, Sami, Goyo Smoke, a Ward and something else, and utilize the attackers. Because look at the operator ban, right? Bandit Kite, which is just about the wall denial, versus Grim Ying, some of the strongest execute-enabling operators in the game. It doesn't feel like a fair trade-off, so to speak, and they got Shurib on the block downstairs anyway. So if the Bandit Kite was on the board, Shurib goes beneath, boom, 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 you block the floor, pew, 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 you shoot the utility, and now you breach the wall. It feels like CAG by VARREL are already doing this step without the Bandit Kite that would literally counter it anyway. Regardless.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting couple of rounds here. I think from the perspective more so of Dplus Kia, if their mental resilience is as strong as you were suggesting during that second map, hopefully we see that shine through here. And the frustrations, if there are any, haven't bubbled over heading into this third map. Nears does get caught out early, but dodges that spray. He'll be able to retain control of bathrooms, sustain a little bit of pressure as well. That's being collected lobby side. Shivasu finds the first. That's a sloppy trade attempt, but Nears does net the kill.
Almost dies to the fire shortly after as well, and goes for an overswing, and actually, DD-Man falls on back, doesn't want to overstay his welcome. C4 tossed that out in response, doesn't find a kill, but a fair amount of damage onto Saka, it seemed like, but he's actually in a completely different location, so that was a different fight, I guess, that happened elsewhere. Probably between Musi and himself. But CAG have gotten bathroom control, top main staircase, the breach towards the bomb side on the internal and external wall. The only problem is we see a Tashanga. So Force is dead on smoke, but they have pretty much infinite plant denial for the default plant location. I'm sure he's gotta get in the mix here on the verticality and deny the Tashanga entirely from using the gadget, or they're gonna go deep, play for a couple of kills, but that won't happen because Levy on the Tashanga doesn't just deny the plant, he also finds Saka on the Capital.
Yeah, that's nice proactive play, not just with the Shamika launcher in hand, but also able to farm kills. Musi gets caught.
Ooh.
The blind spot, the miss time. It allows Anaton to progress forward, net that kill, and brings it back to a 3 versus 3. Ooh, almost gets the second, but it's DD-Man to collect, and Levy falls
DD
as well.
backstab.
Dplus Kia struggling again. Can they salvage the round? Can they clutch this one up? Nears in a cross, gets caught.
Oh my god.
And the round streak continues for CAG by VARREL.
Beautiful. Such good discipline and timing in the 1 versus 2. You saw how nobody was taking the fight. They were jiggling for information and they were just waiting for DD-Man to get into the right spot to go for a 3-2-1 swing together and guarantee a round victory. That was a very good problem-solving round as well from CAG. That exact level of communication and problem-solving is why they were losing on Cafe. They didn't have that. Then they played 90 Labs and they figured it out, right? And now we're seeing the strongest version of themselves. It was going to be plan A, main staircase, breach into a plant. Okay, they lose a body, they see Chishanga, sure doesn't find the kills vertically, let's go for a backstep. And it's going to be DD-Man and Nomad, a flank watcher that finds 2 kills despite the barricade being closed in the back portion, and then they meet in the middle and win the round. Really well done. Dplus are going to be feeling that pressure in the server now, losing 7-0, and now lost their 8th round in a row.
I'm getting a little bit concerned for Dplus Kia. A little bit.
Very much
They looked
so.
a little bit frazzled in that opening round. We'll see if it is something that will continue going forward. If the pressure is going to bubble over in this matchup. We expected a close duel between these two, and fortunately we got that back on map 1. And with Dplus stealing Cafe, it kind of set the series up to maybe be dominant on their fashion, but map 2 has completely subverted that expectation, and the start here on Lair is looking very positive. CAG have done a really good job of warming up into this series, Nick, which I think domestically especially has been actually quite a big strength for CAG in their ability to play better in the best of 3 format.
Nothing to report at my location.
And what should we say, like the long-term rewards right now as well, right? Spark is saying early on that he wasn't doing much external analysis for the players on CAG. He wants them to figure out the problems in the server and play their own game of adaptation, and teaching them skills that the coach shouldn't have to help you with necessarily. It's great for a tech timeout when you really need the assistance, but the players should know how to do it themselves, and the coach can just help them if need be. And it seems like that has been happening here as well. Mitzi feeling a bit of that pressure, known as an attacker below him. Also one next to him is at a main lobby, so very scary position for him to be in right now. But Shuri doesn't take the bait. He's gonna go top floor instead with a solid snake, just looking to see if there's any other roamers in the area. And that's because the by VARREL, they're being stalled up by the Goyo fire. So you might as well spend these 20 seconds hopping on drones, using the gadgets, getting caught off guard actually, because Mitty was right here, waiting for a backstep attempt here from main lobby. That was because Shuri gave up that area, but he does straight back elsewhere with his own, just to die right after 2 years.
Yeah, I'm surprised that the Solid Snake hasn't offered enough information for CAG to help clear this roam. It's been effective from Dplus Kia. They've caught good timings and have now positioned themselves nicely in the round. It is a 2-2 split, so maybe CAG can look to flood those on the objective, but Anita does get caught in the pinch, and that should be the round. Barring a fight back, sharp shot from Chibisu has been really strong this stage, but Midi runs right in the second round, and after quite the drought, Dplus Kia should hit that scoreboard once more.
Yeah. Mitty's been everywhere this round. Started the roam, now by the bomb side, found 2 kills. And they got so many... Oh, out of nowhere, DD gets a kill. Okay, speed of Mitty, he's now in the grave. And I think all the Goyo fire by the side here has been popped in the earlier fight. So the way in here should be free for DD, man. He finds another headshot out of nowhere, seemingly, into a 1v1 against Muzi.
Uh-oh. Yellow ping,
He knows.
Muzi close. Oh! DD man had the shadow advantage, but Muzi on the swing, just able to clutch up a really needed round there for Dplus Kia, and it was also close to crumbling apart.
Way too close for comfort.
I think if they lose that one, Nick, the mental just gets
shots.
crushed. I'd be
Yeah.
very hard to envision them bouncing back if they lost that one.
I mean, that is one of those rounds that no matter how solid you are mentally, you're gonna tilt, because that was like the most done round of all time. Like, it was effectively like a 4 versus 2 to a 3 versus 1. It's not supposed to be that close for comfort. I'm not sure what it is about Dplus right now, but why are we dying like this? Like, look at these pixel angles that they're holding. No crossfire, no trade game, doesn't play down the timer. And I generally think that if Muzi wasn't playing Scopos, I think he loses that gunfight. Scopos has like a very different hitbox and like visual feedback than other operators due to it being a robot. I genuinely think, at least from my personal bias, it is the hardest defender to fight against. There's something about it that just doesn't click. There's no flinching, there's no blood pattern, like the headshot hitbox has always been a bit finicky for me. Because like you said, he had the shadow advantage, he had the pre-fire and the yellow ping. So it comes down to the very tiny details in the server. 1-1 apiece, but I'm still favoring CG right now. They're making this way closer in a round that you should have just lost outright.
Spawn pick attempt from
a
Levy
rat
Blue
play.
Stairs. Oh my goodness, he almost died
Oh
there.
boy.
He almost died.
How does no one take damage here?
And he gets caught.
What? You know, he could have sprinted past the window, used the Sami barrier. He could have chosen to live.
Oh, is that another
but he
ego
chose
moment,
to
Nick?
fight.
You've mentioned it before.
Yeah?
The Dplus Kigo are taking so many solo fights. The lack of crossfires is being concerning over the course of this
Another
series
one. Yep. The thing is, when Dplus have been playing at the very best, at least for this stage, it's been what I call the 4+1 strat. You know, you have 4 people working together and the one guy just doing whatever he wants, the freedom in the server. The +1 has been Nears. He's been given so much freedom to be the ego swinger, talking shit in the in-game chat, trying to get into the head of their opponent. Nears has been completely quiet in the in-game server, and he also hasn't really been the playmaker today. He's been on, I want to say passive roles because they're all taking fights, but he's been playing the Clash, he's playing the Pulse now, and it's been other players like Mitty, like Levy, which is a more unusual approach to this team.
Well,
I don't know, does this feel like that CAG, they...
It almost feels like it's been
What's
flipped the other way, right? Where at some cases it feels like a 1-4 split where 4 players are running around trying to make plays.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's resulted in being a little bit disconnected. Either way, though, green side pressure from CAG, and it's DD man to take a chunk of damage. The Monty isolated on site. Nears wants to progress forward, wants to pressure, but no Nitro. UMP will be largely ineffective with the shield extended and now pressured from that exterior breach.
Get that Capital in there. You find the soul guy by the bomb site, use a Capital fire from the external walls, and he should just be walking into a gun, just like here. Sure, straight with the fire in hand, Energy has the angle, but DD-Man goes down in the middle of the bomb site instead. Bit of an awkward trade back to even numbers, and all of a sudden Dplus, if Nears can hold on by the bomb site, he will! Gnarly shot landed! That could be the round for Dplus. They might just get their second, but it's not over yet.
Oh, good pop flash. And Nears falls. So some good utility usage late here from the attack of CAG, and it's a 2-stack above for Dplus Kia. Will Chibisu be able to get this plant down? Unlikely, unless Zaka can cover, and he does! What a shot against the vert, can escape outside, and now Falls Nick is left in a very difficult 1v2.
Should be impossible. They got the external wall, long angles, got a shotgun and C-set second there. 2 of the worst guns for this kind of position to be in, and time is working against him. Now there are 2 frag grenades in pocket of Chibisu as well that can be used later on, and he has no clue where they are. They're playing disciplined, playing far away from the bomb side. He's gonna start taking it. 7 seconds gonna take. All they gotta do is close that gap, close the net, guys. He's taking it, but they're there to answer. The first shot doesn't land, but they will get the final kill. CAG, they take a clutch of a round after DD-Man dying early in the Monty, not getting side control, and Nears finding 2 big kills.
Yeah, it got scary for a very small moment there, but CAG ultimately doing a great job in winning that round. And yet again, another one that on paper, if you had have paused the round and taken a guess as to who was in the better position with the denial opportunity up above, you back in Dplus Kia to win that 99 times out of 100, or maybe not 99, but at least probably like 80% of the time. But Zaka hit an insane shot. Able to get that plant down, and then the reposition in the post was really clean. So credit to CAG, a 2-1 lead. It's the Azami and the Monty to be unavailable for the remainder of this first half.
It's very interesting because CAG, they've always been like, anything can play the shields, and that's really the whole story. But since DD-Man went from coach to player, they now have 2 styles of playing those operators. They can have Anyton play the Ying, for example, and he'll be the one to walk in deep, go for kills. They can have DD-Man play the Ying and just kind of toss them from outside the building, trying to cause distraction. Same thing for the Monty. That was a DD Monty round. He's just extended, he's walking around, and he is playing the pure distraction game. He is not the playmaker. He wants to plant, and he wants to get information to call the shots. If Anyton was on the shield, he's going to be ADSing you, taking the fights, going for melee bonks, and trying to go for kills. If you're up against CAG these days, domestically, internationally, whichever, looking at who is playing the operator, whether it's DD or Anyton, will actually give you a pretty good indicator of what style of round they're going for. It was DD going down early on the Monty. He was caught off guard if he looked in 2 different directions. But it kind of gives away their playbook a little bit. So I'm curious to see going forward the Monty ban, how that's going to affect CAG by VARREL. I wouldn't say that Monty has been like instrumental, but it is always a nice failsafe if these attacks were to start slowing down, which to be fair, hasn't happened yet.
It's been a volatile start to this matchup. Don't really know who that favors. If anything, probably CAG a little bit, who have historically loved that chaos. Don't know if I have the same faith in Dplus Kia if this match continues in such a fashion, but they're clearly skilled, and if they can take control of the tempo and the style of this game, then I think that prediction would change pretty swiftly. The Sense in play for the 4th round, so I'm intrigued to see how Aniton looks to exploit that particular operator. They also have the vertical dimension of the buck down below in Armory at the moment. We saw that previously, or at least an attempt to flush out some of those anchor positions, such as the Tachanka. Dplus Kia doubling down with the Tachanka and the smoke for that area denial, plus triple nitro, Nick.
Yeah, it is so much utility here. I mean, I think they're expecting a shield substitute instead of the Monty, and you know, the Blackbeard Diffuse and the Blitz will die to 2C4, so it seems like that was a train of thought here by Dplus, and even if there aren't any shields in play, you got a ton of plan now with that, as you mentioned. I feel like CAG could go for a default plan attempt if Shrip could find the Tachanka vertically, but that has not been the case, and we see defenders are peeking on those angles themselves. Nearest gets the kill that exact same way, and now plan B has to spring to action for CAG. You cannot go for a plant on default, there's too much plant denial, you have to find a couple of picks, but doing so now becomes much more challenging. It feels like Aniton, with the Sense projector walls, has to try and find or create space somewhere. Not to be.
Yeah, tricky prospects now. 35 seconds on the board. Aniton full. Dplus has been farming elsewhere on the R6 side, but unfortunately, the rest of the push completely fell apart. A bit of support going his way could have changed the outcome of that round for CAG, but not to be. Pretty formidable defense from Dplus Kia to equalize the scoreline. It'll be back down to basement next and a 2-2 scoreline.
It does seem like Shuriba on the box just hasn't found the full value on either of the top floor attacks, but opening pick seems to be pretty important right now for CAG to go for their executes. Once they fall behind in numbers and can't stay even, then they simply can't force the gaps, right? There are more defenders watching more angles you can attack from, so you're gonna be met with a gunfight everywhere. It's a different story if you're in a 3v3. There could be a backstab potential. You get a kill. Now you're 3 versus 2. You can leverage the man advantage. It's how they won the top floor preview. It's how DD got 2 kills. Now to basement. It's going to be that same lineup. The traps by the bomb side. The scopers for the deep roam. And unfortunately, here on layer, there's not a ton of bomb side direct rushes. You're a bit more forced to the roam clear, the full takes. You can't do a half take where you only clear like half of the building. But then we saw Mitty last time just kind of run around and go for flanks and getting kills and disrupting CAG even further. And I am seeing, like, sure, I'm seeing the Blackbeard. This could very well be a roam clear into Verticality, walk down filtration staircase, go for a plant. But the round will often be decided on the roam clear here because there's going to be multiple people looking for a fight. Moosey and Nears are both on top floor. Levy is 1 floor below them. If CAG get the roam kills, they will win off the roam clear. If Dplus get the openings instead of the story, they can then again fall back towards the bomb side and just play the numbers game. So the first kill most likely determine everything. Yikes.
Yikes indeed. There's been a couple of ego attempts, or at least aggressive attempts, to find an opening in the last 2 rounds from CAG, and not really paying dividends. We'll see if they're able to recover in the round, but unfortunately Zaka will also fall at that front entrance position, and so CAG now in a tricky spot. Aniton does recover some of that deficit though. Nears in the grave, and Aniton looks menacing on the Blackbeard. Moosey as well was taken low, but the beauty of that Scopos means that he can get back to full HP on the second shot.
Yeah, can get healed by a Dark or Thunderbird, but can just change the robot shield and get the other body going. And as you said, he will do so. This is Dplus surrendering the roam control and willingly falling back because they said we have gotten what we wanted, a couple of kills. Now we gotta play the numbers, utilize the Goyo Fire. the Denari lasers, and hopefully this time also the crossfire. You cannot give the individual fires to players like Anderton and the Blackbeard because he'll be favored in those engagements. So now you need to do the easy part. Discipline, no ego challenge. Nice and calm round for Dplus.
Well, you say easy, but it's probably been one of the more challenged aspects of the defense from Dplus Kia. Well, and we're going to see Leffy go range.
They're coming for him.
Hunted down by Anderton. Charging forward on the Blackbeard, and Levy goes all the way outside, and DD Man is there to greet him. Good play from CAG.
That's cold. So cold. He can actually just run downstairs, drop the ladder, and gone in like a window or door in the basement. So the fact that DD goes in the exterior literally nets them the kill. All of a sudden, we're back to even numbers. And like I said, you cannot give Anderton any 1v1 angles, but hold up. Maybe there's a second win condition here. They could still plant filtration. They have the Thatch EMP, so don't gotta worry about any plant denial. We know there are none, but they might not know that in the server. So they can go on the door. One guy cover the hard left, one guy cover the door straight ahead. Second go if I was just popped now, actually.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tight
0
window.
seconds left to work with, so default plant not possible. They gotta vault this breach and take a fight.
Oh, perfect flush out. Absolutely spot on. Can't blame Falls for that one.
Go.
Midi taken low. Can they find the kills required? Can Anderton maybe get that plant down?
1 second.
Goes for the stick. Midi tries to swing. Can't get the angle. And CAG have played that round absolutely perfectly. That is not a throw from Dplus. That was genuinely a really well worked round by the attack.
It really was. I mean, play that back, right? You're sitting there thinking, wait for 20 seconds, pop the coil fire. Okay, they can't walk in the door, they can't go for a plant. That's the win condition removed. CAG, they answer back. They start breaching the double wall bottom filtration, and then the defender from Dplus stays in the corner. And often, I'm going to say, that's a bad idea. But the breach that CAG made, it was a vault angle. That means you're stuck in the vault animation and you can't really take a favorable gunfight. So stay in the corner is genius. But oh wait, there was one frag grenade left from the attackers. And that one frag grenade is going to force you to sprint away, to cover in the angle, and he dies. That gives them the vault on in. It's these very small things and no hesitation plays from CAG that gave them the chance to win the round. You could say in hindsight that staying in that corner for Dplus is a bad idea, but truth be told, I don't think anybody assumed there was going to be a grenade left. Because they're playing Striker, they're playing Blackbeard, they had, 2 people die in the roam game, timer was running low, etc. The bullet cannons were probably going to get, grenaded instead. But no, they had one left, and that changes everything.
I'll tell you what, there was a potential universe there where Midi may have been able to drop Anderton. And then it was, of course, after time, but I mean, it was a pretty long shot at that point into the 1v3. It was just a really nice clear from CAG. Some really good attacking prowess. Now in the lead, they've reached the benchmark on Lair. I think 3 rounds would put them in good stead. A 4th would be incredible. It's been really good from them so far here on this 3rd and final map. The Scopos again to be deployed here from Dplus Kia. It's been a constant selection here from Muzi, the 3rd appearance of this particular operator. Had good value in the last round. The ability to take a chunk of damage green side, then transfer to the side and have a second life. Warehouse direct though from CAG currently.
A little quiz here for you, Gosler. Who do you think is the best Scopus player of all time? And there is a correct answer, by the way. Do you know what it is?
That is a very obscure question, and I am going to be honest and say I have absolutely no idea.
Nope. Yeah, so you haven't seen EML. Marto had a Scopus clutch in the first or second play day of EML, where he was top floor cafe, TV'd back into the bomb site in front of the people planting, denies the planter and the guy cover, and then clutches a 1v1 right after. The Marto is now the official best Scopus player in the world until somebody outperforms that clutch. It was a Scopus only clutch with a TP.
Do you know who's the best? Do you know who's the best clutch player in the history of Oceanic Siege?
Oh, Oceanic Siege is an interesting curveball. Let me think about that for the rest of the round right now. I'll get back to you.
It's Lunchbox. I'll spoil
a lot
it
of
for
really
you.
good players.
I have no idea if
I
it's
was not
actually
going to
him.
guess Lunchbox.
Well, 60 seconds and the round's playing out. CAG with the lead currently. Bit of pressure on that filtration side. Falls. Gets caught in the middle of it.
He vaults the desk!
Uh-oh. Bit of a misplay
control,
potentially,
perhaps.
but was probably dead. Anyway, flank from Nears. Filtration, still vulnerable. as Levy looks to try and deny this plant, but Anderton will secure. Can CAG go 4-2 up at the halftime break, or can Nears and Levy look to fight back? Nears has hit a good flank in this round, but needs to now find 2 in the post to confirm the round for his team. It's been shaky from Dplus Kia. It hasn't been the most convincing siege that we have seen from them this stage. And unfortunately for Nears, no opportunities presenting. Time running low, and this is good disciplined siege from CAG. Now whilst Chibisu falls, DD man peels back. No opportunity now for Nears to win the round. It's
nice
a 4K,
feat.
but it's a stat pad at best. CAG have the lead, boys, 4-2 to the desk.
Yeah, look, right now, the way that CAG are playing, like every little mistake that Dplus are making seems to be capitalized on. Any small errors that there are, they seem to be in the right place at the right time. And unfortunately for Dplus Kia, it does not bode well. This story is not ending well for them whatsoever in this upper bracket.
No, CAG are continuing with their momentum from that second map after winning 7-0. Dplus Kia, I mean, they fought back a little bit. They were able to get 2 rounds, but we could just see, I think it was the second round, they were in the 4v3.
Yep.
Looked like they had everything covered. Muzi was able to hold the main door, and they had Tachanka still alive to deny the plant. And they just capitulated. They just started to look for peaks again, running over vertical. It didn't really make much sense. I think DD got a double kill from a door outside.
Very close.
It's tough to say that you can be confident in their ability to win these rounds now when they're making pretty vital mistakes that throw rounds.
Jake, what's your deep analysis on this one? I'll actually leave that open-ended for you.
Yeah, deep analysis. I just had to make sure I turned my mic on.
I know, I saw that for a second.
Well, defender side of Matt, you got 2 rounds.
Yeah.
They're up the paddle, as some would say, and they haven't... Oh, the paddle.
They're up... yeah.
They're up the creek, they don't have the paddle.
That's correct. What creek is it?
It's a creek.
It's a creek.
A muddy one.
Yeah, very true.
Very disappointing. And yeah, referencing obviously what Vinny was talking about, that was the opening round where Muzi pushed forward, and that probably then set the tone. Like you got to be winning top floor defense on Lair. You hadn't won that, would have been a 2-0 start.
Yeah.
Okay, then you go tertiary, Bunk's briefing, and even Bunk's briefing I thought was winnable, and I just think they misplayed it. I think it didn't. That round came down to a 2v2, so that was also another winnable round. So you kind of break this down. First 4 rounds, it actually could have been, and maybe should have, 4-0 to Dplus, and in the end they actually only walk around with 2 rounds for the entire half on defense Lair. So definitely the basement sites to close for CAG. They were far too good. As much as Nears tried in the last round, ultimately Dplus now find themselves in a very tricky position. Yeah,
the irony that we were sitting downstairs and we're watching DD Man, and your comment is, well, if he wins that, it's absolutely game over. The mental's absolutely chalked. I think at this point, just the way that CAG have played from the second map onwards has left absolutely no doubt, Vinny. Going into this final half, give me your actual analysis here. Do you think Dplus have it in them?
Based on current form, no. It's becoming really tough to be confident in their ability to close out rounds, especially now they're moving over to their attack, where making mistakes can prove to end the round quite quickly, especially if CAG tend to push the pace on their defenses and try to find opening kills a lot earlier than, say, Dplus were.
Look, it's pretty simple. CAG are but 3 rounds away from locking in a grand final appearance on Sunday. Dplus Kia once again just slightly behind the 8 ball. They need to speed this up. They need to find a way into Lair. Otherwise, it is going to be done. It is going to be dusted. Michael, how you feeling, mate? You ready for this one?
Well, I'm feeling about as skeptical as Vinny. I think he's right in assessing that first half, as we've kind of been calling Nick, that Dplus Kia have not been able to confidently close out many rounds, and if those fundamental flaws rear their ugly head on attack, it's probably going to look even worse for them. That's where mistakes are even more exposed, just due to the nature of how Siege does play out. And being that they're now at the deficit as well means that they can't be affording too many errors.
Yeah, again, when you're playing defense, you do your paper strats that you've been practicing and going over in theory about all the various outcomes. If you cannot communicate accurately around a predetermined strat, how are we supposed to believe you can go adaptable, flexible, on the fly attack and be successful? That's the exact worry that I have as well. I don't think Dplus, when looking at Cafe and Nighthaven, have proven to us that this is a comeback story. Of course, it can happen, but I'm definitely backing CAG right now. Individually, team effort-wise as well. I mean, DD-Man was a top fragger for the majority of the attacker rounds, and there are people who joke about if DD's top fragging, you're doing something wrong. Because he is usually the guy that comes in with acts of desperation, right? He's going to be clutching late round. He's going to be finding the back steps if the first plan isn't working. He even played Muncie, didn't get a kill for a whole round. He's still sitting on 7-4. So Dplus, they have all these big names like former world champion Muzi, who's losing to DD-Man. That's kind of the conversation that I have at the minute. Falls 1-5, Levy 1-6, individual hero play, shut down. Nears has been super active on the scoreboard, 12-4, but a lot of those kills are like 1 versus 4. He gets 2, then he loses the round. It's exit frags, impactless.
Oh no. And he's the first to fall here in round 7. Some of that hard breach deployed, but limited. And for at least the second time that I've now spotted, Zaka getting a little active in the old chat as well, just to rub salt in the wounds. To be fair to Nears, it's a pretty aggressive peak from Zaka and one that you wouldn't expect, but nonetheless, it's a big loss for the attack.
Yeah, Nears is the one player from Dplus Kia who's been trash talking every single game in the group stage, so it's fitting that you talk back when it's him dying early. I think that's only fair. But look at Dplus, it's kind of like their Nighthaven Labs attack. They're kind of stuck outside the building, not really progressing like second by second. They are getting inside now, they're gonna tank some fire. Mitzi walks in solo downstairs, dies to Saka, who was actually top floor. Guess he dropped down or walked down the staircase or something like that. And now it's just the back portion push. Levy outside, Blackbeard in the hallway. Moosey finds a kill elsewhere. But the real challenge is here, and Falls goes down.
Yeah, one of the strengths for Dplus Kia back on the first map of Cafe was their ability to go quickly from a plan A into a plan B. Unfortunately, though, here on their opening attack of Lair, we haven't quite seen that same success just yet. It's convincing from CAG. It's a perfect start. Can they run away with his best of 3?
Trying to think about like what's the fail-safe, what's the parachute option. I think CAG have done an excellent job at the upper band selection here, like the Monty and the Capital. Again, it's the most stable, safe, kind of step-by-step operator in the Monty, and then the easiest counter to all the strong individual positions in the Capital. It's really making Dplus have to fight for early kills, mostly with guns or using the weaker shield operators, or should I say more vulnerable shield operators, something that CAG are super experienced at both playing with and against. Whereas Dplus, they do the good old Bandit and Kaid, boys, we can get the heart breaching done, which doesn't help you at all at roam clearing, doesn't help you at all with the meta advantage, and it doesn't really help you on the basement bomb side either at progressing the round. Because the heart breaching on this bomb site mostly occurs when you're like in the 3v3 down filtration stairs, then you can breach the boiler wall. That's really it. Sure, there might be a hatch you can breach somewhere as well, but then you just get can openers or whatever. It's not like it's a huge deal. So it does feel a bit tricky for me. And I just think, like, in very simple terms, Dplus, they need to get opening pick. Maybe 2 picks, and then the round is playable. But as long as they're in equal numbers fight with CAG, it feels like it's going to be a losing position.
I just had a quick look back at when these two last played in a best of 3 in that kickoff bracket. They played each other twice, but the grand final specifically was quite close, 2-1 in favor of CAG. The Labs has played second on that occasion, and Dplus won it out in OT, 8-6. Regulation was a clean 3-3 split. So they've shown promise on this map in the past, but unfortunately today, a little below that benchmark at the moment, and the 3-round advantage that CAG have been able to gain does put them in good stead. And they'll be confident going forward. I think they've very much been able to shake off old habits of throwing away advantages. And so I feel pretty comfortable for them at the moment. It's up to Dplus Kia to be the initiators on attack. The Blackbeard in play for the 8th round.
Interesting cast a barricade there. Gets popped off by the Flourish drone. It's very turtle hold here by CAG. And the attack is coming from the garage portion, which means they're going to have very weak positions on the bomb side. But a roam game is alive on the floor above. It's going to be Shurip on the Goyo. But he's very far away to help his teammates. The Goyo fire has been popped. That's going to buy them 20 seconds. And after that, it comes down to timing. If Shurip were to be successful on the flank here, that can change the entirety of this round. But I think Dplus have an inkling because they're still holding their flanks as well. Here comes the glass push.
Can Levy find something? The smokes are layered, but not an opportunity presents, but it does allow him to flood deep. DD Man falls, Chibisu fails to react in time, and Dplus Kia have shown great initiation in this round. A hero play from Levy. Shurip on the other side of the map. I was a little concerned if Dplus Kia were going to be able to play make in this second half, but it's flawless in the 8th. And that makes things just a little more interesting.
It does make it more interesting, but CAG, they completely let go on the gas pedal. No pressure, no fighting back. A glass just walking on in. Nobody even watching the angle.
They had no idea.
They had no idea. It could have been a case of, they saw 1 minute, 20 seconds left and thought it's going to be a while before they dare make any moves. Let's not even worry about it. They're not gonna go for it, guys, right? Shurip can flank later, and then before you know it, Glass in the middle of the bomb side and gets 3 kills from the exact same doorway. All CG looked completely surprised that he was there, which I get for the first kill, but the second and third, no one's shooting back, no one's shutting down that angle. Fair enough. But that is going to be the basement. It's going to be the more direct sort of approach there from Dplus. Now we go to tertiary, which can have a similar attacking strategy. We've seen so many teams play operators like your Glass, a Shield, a Thatcher. You breach the bomb site walls. You just go for a crazy plan attempt and see what happens. But given Dplus the tag or repick right now, it doesn't seem to be the case. None of those kind of chaotic operators, no Sense, no Ying, no Glass. And the Blackbeard is not the best shield to go for a plant with, so this could very well be Dplus going to fight people upstairs. They even bring Mitya and Sledge having a shotgun primary. Very unusual for this bomb site.
Yeah, a little bit. I suppose you probably have a preset play in terms of the route that he wants to take on the top floor clear.
Feels like it, yeah.
Probably not the worst to contest sort of this green side. A lot of close angles and tight corridors where he could be effective. And actually down below and near is close, in a position to potentially attempt plant. Does have that diffuser tucked under his arm, and he'll just be patient and sit and wait. Certainly not a position that the defense of CAG will anticipate. So an interesting idea formulating here for Dplus Kia. And a tricky one to read for CAG. I'm intrigued to see as well in terms of how they look to deny this plant without the Solace. If that ends up being a problem, it probably won't be. Dplus Kia now starting on their contest above. Does Zaka know of the pressure behind?
Big problem. I mean, there's a barricade behind him that D-Man could open, but right now he's in deep, deep trouble. Fights solo. So last round, no one's fighting from CAG. And now we have just one solo player with a door barricaded, no crossfire, etc. But Dplus, they get that opening peak, like I said before. They gotta get 1 kill or 2 to be in that position to have a round victory. They've gotten the first one. Musi very low on health. And this is going to mean the roam clear is much stronger for Dplus, right? There's one less gun to worry about, and the defender downstairs, or Shui playing on the side, cannot retake a staircase. But he can get a kill, apparently. Takes down Levy instead. And now the Toxic Babes will stall out falls on the Blackbeard for now. So it's even numbers, 3 above and 1 below.
DK, no, it is just the one on site. Nears with the scan onto Shurip. And so they'll play off that information and commit to this top floor clear. And Chibisu gets completely caught off guard, and the trade attempt is weak. DD left exposed. Shurip, in the meantime, is fighting well on site. He has been insane in this round, and the only reason CAG could still win it.
Careful now. Venison goes down now to Blackbeard. That could be round over. Shurip left alone for the ace. Nate goes out holding the angle. He's gonna take the gunfight again. You could fall back and play the numbers game, but instead Enton wants to be the hero, leaving now just Shurip. They have to drop the hatch, and there they go. Here's the first one down.
Moosey's low on HP. Did they line up for Sharif? Oh, not quite. The Blackbeard with perfect coverage. Dplus Kia are back in this match.
Disgusting. He actually dropped right behind the Blackbeard, so ensure went for the flick from the BB up to the hatch. They block most of the bullets with the shield, actually, and it enables the 2 versus 1 successfully. Again, small details here being missed by CAG. 2 separate moments, right? When you have Saka on Jaeger in the upstream hallway to play that front 4 position, I think that's great. But why is the door behind him barricaded so his teammates that are right next door can't support him? He was forced to go for a swing away from the Blackbeard. He loses the 2v1 gunfight as he should, and that's how Dplus start off with the momentum. Then later on the 2 versus 2, after Shubi gets 3 kills in the round, mind you, Anderton wants to re-aggress against the Blackbeard that can always stay alive without the impact grenades, without the Griswold's in pocket to go for counterplay, and they throw away an equal man advantage and put Shurip in a really hard position. Small details not going the right way. CAG, they gotta have a bit more respect there for their opponent, because perhaps the first few rounds were too easy for them. They're starting to lose a bit of that discipline.
Yeah, perhaps CAG have counted their chickens before they've hatched, a little bit like us and the boys on the couch as well, to an extent. Not really expecting as much of a fight back here from Dplus Kia, as has been shown. They've been able to flick a switch, to be fair, and they're playing a far more disciplined brand of Siege. CAG are getting caught out at the moment. 2 opening kills in a row for Dplus. The conversion rate on this map has been far higher. Just the 1 occasion out of the 9 rounds where it hasn't been converted. So a telling metric so far in this head-to-head on the final map of Lair. As that tactical timeout expires, it's straight back into the server. Replay package of that previous round, it was Zaka in a very compromised position, and then the rest of this top floor hold Nick just completely fell apart.
Just walk in. Yeah, I mean, Falls just gets 2 kills without anybody even looking in his direction. That's quite awful, to be honest with you. Again, very small details being missed, but it changes the entire outcome of the round. I didn't see the 3rd operator bands before, but I'm seeing them just now. The Grim and the Tashanga. I gotta say, I'm a huge fan of Tashanga. Often you're thinking plant denial because we saw Dplus do that themselves, but it also enables operators that we see right now, the Blitz and the Glass. When you have the Glass in the play, you can just kind of throw Molotovs into the smoke, and the Glass gets either taken out damage, has to run away from the smoke in itself, so you lose the cover. And for the Blitz, whenever you're hitting a shield with the Tashanga Fire or Goyo Fire, it actually will shield guard break them. Similar to if you go for a melee or an impact or a C4 grenade, it's gonna stun them and expose their body to any bullets. So it's a very big counter for this new chaotic approach. The Grim has not really been an operator in my mind here from Dplus's attacks. It is a lot of intel, hard destruction, secondary shotgun for a bit of, verticality maybe, but it has not been like an instrumental attack on up by any means.
In terms of the pacing for these opening kills in the second half, it has been, in general, relatively similar to the first half, which was a little volatile into where it actually did take place. At what point in the round? Falls does have the diffuser here on the Blitz, and it's quick control Skybridge side. No immediate direct contest from the CAG defense. This is the kind of position where the Glass can be so lethal. We'll see Levy deploy a smoke, and in response, some utility. The Nitro, though, from Sharip, ineffective. Got caught on the wall, shot out by the shield, and so Dplus Kia now taking that space.
You feel that pressure in the server right now, so you don't want to make a mistake. But with that, maybe the risk assessment changes. When they want to make the hero plays before without having any fear, maybe there's a bit of doubt in the back of their mind now. If they dare take that risk. Sharif, who has been the hero many times before, has taken a lot of damage earlier and also spent his C4. only 50 seconds to go, actually, so if CG can keep holding on for a bit longer, that could win them on the clock. But look at this, they're right by the bomb site, a shield waiting for a plant, a glass to cover, and still smokes in pocket to enable the glass. But they actually trade util, toxic bait for smoke grenade. Dplus either gotta go right now or go without util later on. They're gonna go now.
Oh, a team kill. I think I saw that in the kill feed, but it may not matter. CAG just clean up in the blink of an eye. The execute does not work for Dplus. Credit to CAG. 2 match and series points here on Lair.
That round out of nowhere. So essentially what happened was that the final smoke grenade from the glass was spent on the bomb site door, and glass was gonna cover the bomb site with blitz sprinting on in, but then a toxic babe from smoke on defense was tossed in as a response, and Dplus were like, okay, do we go, do we not go? Okay, we're going. But then a lot of things happened. The kill feed didn't show the whole story there, but I think Shuri got a enemy kill and a team kill in quick succession, so that was chaos. Dplus had already lost a member earlier on, and then C4 went out, got a second kill, leaving only 1 or 2 attackers left, and that was pretty much it. Dplus trying to go for a very direct approach, playing for the plant, playing around the post, but they didn't get all the way there, so their round ended earlier than they would have liked. They go tertiary once more, but this time they have the ace up their sleeve, if you will. It's going to be the Solace finally being brought to the table. It is so uncommon to see this tertiary bombs out of kids' bunks without having Solace. It just shows you where the plant is going down, where the drones are, what kind of gaps you can see upstairs. And you can also track important operators like your Blitz. If a Blitz is walking around the building, shield in hands, it'll show a continuous electrical device as the shield flash, it's always like active, if you will, and you can just kind of click it to make it pop. So you can actually track operators like the Blitz continuously, and it's going to show you if they're going for a plant downstairs with a shield, or if they're going to go upstairs for a roam clear. Not that there's a Blitz this time, though. It's going to be the Blackbeard instead. Can't quite track him. But if you try and plant in the smoke with the glass, you can figure out where that's going to be happening.
So CAG 1 round away from confirming their spot in the grand final. The loser to take on the victor of the match later today. Scars and Kinotrope sure to be an interesting matchup. And that lower bracket final will be tantalizing. Neither of these two teams, though, will want to find themselves in that position. Just the one slot for EWC in APAC North. It's cutthroat. And both of these two teams will feel as if they are a serious shot of making it. But at the moment, CAG in the lead in a strong position. Oh, Levy gets the first, though. Great angle onto Chibisu. Drops the Solace. And just like that, Dplus here have top floor control.
Flip the switch from a slow burn to a fast push, and they get so much, but they don't want to take too much, right? They got what they wanted. Now they got to kind of rebrief, reset the round, get the flank drones, lock down the staircases, don't get overzealous here. If you're gonna go for a swing at Blackbeard, you better have a gun behind him if you want this fight. It's Anakin, 1 spare Grisman in pocket. Look at the attacker silhouettes though, they're just watching the flanks. They still gotta do a bit of the vert, they got Mitty on the sledge doing that right now, and then they're gonna have options later for the bomb side. But they have lost all their smoke grenades for this upstairs take, which means when they get to the site itself, it's all down to falls on the Blackbeard to figure out how they can piece it together. Not the glass, just the Blackbeard.
They've established so much vert, but CAG are refusing to expose. And Anderson is considering a flank. Levy, though, as you can see, is prone and ready and waiting. Dedicated flank watch, and that's the beauty of having a player advantage, courtesy of him finding that first kill. 30 seconds on the clock, and the smoke's now to be deployed. Levy gets this kill, it should be round over. And I imagine Anderson won't have a read. It would be one hell of a swing from the Ella to win this fight. Elsewhere, utility being deployed from the attack, and Anderson actually did strike a first blow. The kill, though, not confirmed. But the plant will be. Good work from Foles. And Levy once again hitting the kill feed. Sharif will come in late.
Winnable.
And it actually is a 2 versus 2. Is there an opportunity here for CAG to play spoil in the final round? It will be the final round if they win it. Forced outside. Falls on the Blackbeard. Sharif needs to close the gap and gets smacked to the ground. DD Man is so low on HP, stranded above, forced to drop. And will probably have a similar fate. Gets the guard break, but Falls survives. Didn't really matter. Not much time left. If there was an eventual 1 versus 1, Dplus Kia cling on for a little while longer.
Highly risky play to start off the round, right? A quick, aggressive, and confidence-inspiring push. They have finally found that 6th gear. Playing to their own expectations, playing with that confidence to back it up. But they're in a position where it's still match point, right? CT by VARREL need just 1 round, 1 clutch, 1 mistake that they can utilize. 1 round where they might get the opening kill themselves, actually, because that has definitely been one of the difference makers. Dplus now consistently and reliably finding a pick, not losing any bodies. And the playmaker in Shurip, who was so lethal in the first half, has been shut down round after round. Meanwhile, Force and the Blackbeard getting really good at staying alive, establishing the plans, putting glass in the mix every once in a while, and they're finding success. The Space and Bomb side, 6-5 is the scoreline. It's the 3rd map of the series. Winner, of course, takes all. Loser will go to lower bracket, so it's not going to be the end of their road here. But it is number 1 versus number 2. And whoever wins it right here should also be favored in the rematch later, if that were to happen.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Could we be in for our 2nd overtime in this series? It's been a funny match overall. Cafe 8-6 to Dplus, and then CAG responded on Labs with a convincing 7-0, a rarity to see such a dominant result, especially in a best of 3 with 2 teams so strong. And it feels like Dplus Kia might just be able to push this one a little while longer, showing really good grit and determination on this 3rd map. But CAG overall, I think it's fair to say, have maybe been a little more refined. They've played some good Siege over the course of this series, and they will be disappointed if overtime is required. Nears does get the first. Falls took a chunk of damage in the meantime, but the Blackbeard critically will stay up.
Got the pocket roller. The Falls goes down, though. He's been instrumental getting down the diffuser and finding that information for the execute. That's not going to be the case for this round. Maybe Vincent Aurora can be the difference maker instead, closing off some of those doors with the crossfires, but for now, they need more map control. They're fighting for garage, tossing grenades, don't get because important fight goes in, but a trade back and forth. They trade even numbers from 4-4 to 3 versus 3. Saga taking a lot of damage. Final C4 goes out, doesn't find anything. So Dplus, they have a ton of time to work with. Half the round, minute 30. They got Sophia stun, they got soft breeze, they got hard breeze for Aurora, don't get because. And right now, CT by VARREL, they can't afford to make the play again, right? You walk into one of those long-range gunfights with an SMG-11, or maybe even the UMP, low fire rate, and you could just fall. But look at Shuip, he's looking for it, gets thrown out, and is forced to sprint back and play more passive.
Yeah, really good live drone there from Dplus Kia. We'll keep the castle at bay for now. Triple smoke available for DD Man. He thrives in these clutch moments. Zaka contesting the vert. It's been a strength of his over the course of this series. And
that's smart.
It is. It allows Sharif to retreat back. High tension in this round. 45 seconds on the clock, and well, nobody wants to put a foot wrong.
Yeah. The final look call coming out right now. That should be the indicator of a push about to happen, right? It's the last bit of util in their pockets. They're checking all the corners. They think a rat is somewhere in a corner, but they're not. DD Man tanks the phone call. Sakal on health and Shurip dies. Looking like overtime's in the menu, Michael.
Oh, Zaka wins a key fight, but he's now so low. And so there's a big reliance, a big responsibility on DD Man to stand up in this round. A 1 versus 2 with the SMG.
10 seconds.
Now he's 1 HP. Muzi will go searching for the kill. DD Man with the shotgun up close. Muzi failing under the pressure. And CAG by VARREL will close out the map, close out the series, and they see themselves into that grand final. What a day for them, Nick. What a performance.
What a performance indeed. DD versus Moosey for the 1v1 to close off the game as well. DD started so hard on the third map of Blair, then slowed down for a bit once he got to defense. But in the very final moment, the newest addition to the playing roster of DD Man will stand up and say, this round is all mine. CAG, they start off rough on Cafe, but then we saw the second map of Night Haven and I thought this is a whole different team. The adaptations, the depth, and in the end, the counterplay.
Well, Nick, it was an absolute pleasure. What a series. Let's throw it back to the boys on the desk to break it all down.
Let's do it. You know what, Jake? If only someone was mentioning something about DD Man at the end of Cafe going into the second map and how important it would be for him to come alive.
Who would mention that? Who would say that?
No one. No one would ever mention that. In fact, they would try to mention it, but get abruptly cut off. Unfortunately, it's just the way the cookie crumbles here. But look, you've got to admit, Dplus, despite constantly looking down the barrel of just an onslaught from CAG, they fought back quite well and really pushed us to overtime.
Yeah, but it happened again, Rob. That last round, I think they were in a 5v2 or a 5v3 at one stage, and they just could not close it out.
Yeah.
Every time that they seemed to be getting a leg up over CAG, they just wouldn't give them any room to really break away and find a few rounds in a row. So, I mean, CAG throughout the regular stage, 7-0, they showed their dominance, and even though it showed closer tonight, I think they're still the outright first place team.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair to say, and I mean the stats would back that up as well. Let alone a win from a team that is looking pretty on top of their form. Jake, coming into stage one, they've looked pretty good. They don't look unbeatable by any means.
CAG by VARREL?
Correct.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like we said before, group stage flawless and then drop a map into drop a map. So by no means going into that grand final are they going to be completely invincible.
Yeah.
And I think they'll be aware of that. I think they'll understand going into that grand final. There's probably little things that they want to tweak. They tried something with Cafe today. Okay, that didn't work. But then apparently Labs is amazing for them. They figured that out. So they've got some things that I'm sure they'll take away from this series that are good and some things that they'll take away from this series that are bad. But yeah, I think DD had a very good game. We kind of, the whole series was very strange though. Like Cafe opening kills couldn't be converted. A 7-0 came out of nowhere. And then Lair opening kills were completely converted until the very last round. Like it's very difficult to find a pattern in the series, which is probably both good and bad from Dplus's perspective.
Sure.
Bad in the sense they couldn't get control in a series that seemed chaotic.
Yep.
But then good in the sense that, yeah, maybe today was just one of those sort of days, and if they were to rematch in the grand final,
Yep.
the result could flip.
Well, you know what's the best part about our post desks? It's the fact we actually get to hear from the coach himself. Let's welcome in Sparky. Sparky, obviously on the back of that win, it's a very big win, all things considered. You're still flawless throughout the entirety of stage one, but I do want to kind of lean into what Jake was saying there. I guess on a surface level and probably a little deeper than that, there were no real patterns emerging from each map. It was kind of a little bit chaotic. Did you feel that in the server as well?
Yeah. I know exactly what happened on each map, so we'll work on fixing that. But yeah, it was a good game today.
G'day Sparky, nice to meet you, mate. I wanted
nice to meet you.
go over that second map. Obviously not a lot to fix on Night Haven Labs, 7-0. What made you guys pick or let that map through, and did you think you were that confident on it?
No, I mean, it's the only map they beat us in, so we thought we'd work on it a bit more, and we figured out, like, I think the strategic side of the defense, we got it pretty figured out, especially against DK. Like, the layers we played were very solid, so I think it was just more about the defense. If we started attack, it would have probably been a different result in the first half, but yeah, it was a very good map for the defense.
Sparky, me and Vinny here were discussing during Cafe on the opening map that it looked as if a team that obviously what's been a permaban map and we haven't seen you guys play, but looked as a team that understood the strategy, understood maybe what needed to be done, but the execution was well off. Is that how you kind of viewed it by the end?
Well, yeah, so for Cafe, on defense, we just had the problem that we just didn't really understand our win conditions. Like, we got entry kills and we didn't convert them because we got overconfident, you know? It was just about that. And for the attack, no, it was just a bad showing. Like, we didn't play like we know how to play Cafe. Like, we played way better on attack. We were just scared, I think. It was, you know, first map, going on attack on Cafe, first official game on Cafe, but could have gone 7-3. This game could have gone 7-3, 7-2 if we didn't, throw a couple rounds on defense, and if we actually played like the first half of the rounds on attack, like the first half. If we were a bit more solid on that, like take more map control quickly, set up some entries and stuff like that, we could have beaten them on attack as well. So I'm not really concerned about it.
Sparky, one of the things that was kind of mentioned toward the end of the cast and we brought up very briefly on the desk is around DD's involvement. And obviously on the back of last year, him moving from coach to player, and now yourself joining. How do you find having DD man in the server? Because one of the things we kind of spoke to Zaka about last year was about the fact of having, a coach join the team. It gave a bit of relief, I guess, to some of the players. How do you now view his role in this team, and how does that kind of, I guess, work from a round-to-round perspective?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, well, first of all, it should be said that Didi was a player. He also played a major, I think, or a couple majors.
Yep.
He won or came second in Japan. Like, this guy is not like a Silver 2 player.
Correct.
That starts to be like, this guy was an actual player. He was actually good. So now he's getting back to it slowly. So he's been playing better and better. When it comes to the work, it's good because he's the IGL and he also knows the team from like the past coaching perspective, so it's easier for me to like speak. It's like the classic coach IGL relationship, but it's like a bit extra. Whereas like he understands me a bit more than like a typical IGL would, because he's also able to apply like what he knows about the team when he was a coach, which is different than what you know about the team when you're an IGL. So the process works very well, and it's actually very helpful. And now that he's been improving a lot in the gun skill department, I think he's becoming very well-rounded player.
I think that could be.
He was on
VARREL.
Team.
Hey?
He was on VARREL.
Correct.
Then CAG.
Yep.
Now CAG by VARREL.
Yes, there's a bit of magic to it. He was actually, I'm going to throw this back while Sparky's on here. He was actually one of the first Tier 2 players to ever beat CAG back in the day for the RJC, I think it was. So that really goes to show the tenure and the history. Where that's DD man definitely has it. Look, Sparky, I would love to keep you on, love to keep talking to you about kind of this matchup, more so probably the next matchup, which will be the grand final. But unfortunately, we are starting to run out of time here. So what I will do is I will leave you with your final comments, whatever you'd like to say, whether it's a comment to who you'll verse in the grand final or to your mum and dad. I don't care. It's all yours.
No, just thanks to the fans, thanks to the sponsors, and enjoy the next game.
Oh, Sparky. I love that. Thank you very much, mate.
I'm just default.
Yeah, no. But short and sweet, and that's what I like. Just be concise with it. That's all I care about. Sparky, thanks for joining us, mate. We'll see you next play day.
Thank you. Bye.
Obviously, a grand final to come for CAG.
Should have asked him who he thinks is going to win the next game.
Oh, that would have been a better question. But, I like to let people shout their mums and dads out.
And he didn't even do that.
He did not even do that. I said, you want to shout out your mum and dad?
No.
Nope. Just want to say thanks, fans. Thanks, game. See you later. Look, Sparky, I think, is a tremendous addition to this region. It's been really great to get some insight from a region that we really used to struggle, Vinny. We've really struggled to be able to connect what we knew in APAC North what we thought we knew in APAC North to what's actually happening. He starts to bridge that gap. But moving forward, obviously, our second series, Scars and Kinotrope. I mean, boy, that has good tidings.
Yeah, I really hope we get the bloodbath that I think it's going to be, just based on last week's matches. Both of these teams really wanted to bring chaos to their matches against teams that probably play a little bit more structured than they do.
Yep.
And it worked for both teams. I think Scars showed a little bit more over Kinotrope last week, but I think it's anyone's game tonight.
Quick one before we go.
Here we go, stats, man.
So what was the major that DD played on when he was with VARREL?
So he made a comment to the major. I was not aware of this, but if I was to say something, it would be the equivalent of the OS major. So the Japan.
Oh, it was a major.
It was a major. Copenhagen. What did you say?
I thought you said Copenhagen.
Copenhagen.
Yes, it was actually Copenhagen.
Oh my god, I'm so good at this game.
It was DD, Okayu, Koao, Rento, and Okamesh.
Oh, wow.
Who was the Australian representation team?
Oh, Bliss. Yeah, come on, mate. Yeah. You got to know those things. Where's Bliss now? Anyway, time for us to take a break. On the other side, Mr. Jake Xenox and Diddy will leave us and join better duos, I guess. And we'll be back with a lower bracket semi-final. Catch you in a bit.